We are live. It's Friday night. It's the Pontificators night. How is everybody? We're getting a little bit of a late start, but I think we've done worse. We've done worse in the past. So this is actually pretty good for us at 6:05 Pacific Standard Time. So how's everybody doing? How's everybody in the chat? It's been a terrific week. It's heating up here in Southern California. I actually like a little bit of heat. Not crazy heat, but I like the heat that we're having right now. Chester says no. I think it's
I'm
rainy.
a polar bear.
It's rainy season there, right? You guys
but it means it's like 95% humidity and it's hot.
That's disgusting. Okay, well, since we got Chester already talking, let's see what Chester's been up to since the last week.
Well, I've had a very busy week over here. Too busy, really. I need to find some time to myself. Art, it really the problem, but it's all right. It'll never happen. It's just it's my burden to bear.
Is that what you were talking about earlier? The blue balls problem? Is that why you need to be alone?
The autism in the left nut. Yeah. Well, I'm a little concerned about it, but I'm going to go to a doctor next Wednesday. The doctor gave me some ointment last week and said to come back if the swelling didn't go down. But
a little elephantitis. A little elephantitis.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning. I'm leaning.
Dude, I have no idea what autism of the left nut is.
The chat knows. No.
Is this a callback to one of your shows?
No, that would be Boom, Dick in the Water. That would be a callback,
Yeah. All right. So, Todd, you want to talk about your balls, your dick in the water, Florida man, maybe?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about anything in the water, but Florida man launched today, and out of the gates doing really well. A lot of support. People have been tweeting about it, which you did, Art, and stuff, and people that must be affiliated more with Chris Braley of Bleeding Fool. That he must have asked some of these people to get on it and stuff. So really, really excited about how much support I'm getting so far, and that's great. It went up to go for 52 days, and so I'm sure it'll be a trickle for now until we get closer to the end. But I think everything's going really good so far.
Oh, excellent! Just know that Chris pretty much gave me payola to say some good things about your book. So I do appreciate that, Chris. So keep the greenbacks coming, because I'm all about Florida man, brother. That's a lie. The book looks great. The trailer looks amazing. Who put that trailer together for you? It's absolutely hilarious.
Chris did that and worked with somebody who voiced it. He's worked with them before. That trailer will lead you to Chris's site, and he's got a mixture of things there. But I think his other primary job, because Bleeding Fool is more of it kind of runs itself kind of thing. People volunteer and stuff like that, but it's video editing and some things in that arena.
No, it's amazing. It's really, really funny. Yeah. And if you guys get a chance, there is a Florida Man link in the description, so you guys can check it out where we're yapping it up on the Pontificators show. So, Joe, how you been, brother?
Not too bad. It's been a little bit of a crazy week, but the wife and kids left today. They'll be gone all weekend, so I'm going to take tonight off and then spend the weekend rearranging this room and trying to turn it into a proper office.
Oh, very cool.
Nice. Yeah, get the woman out of the house.
What's that like?
Well, it's the first time in a long time, so it'll be a nice quiet weekend. Lots of backbreaking work, but at least it'll be quiet.
Well, that's good. So Zach, do you have any ball or dick jokes or backbreaking jokes?
No, because freaking Chester ruined it all behind the scenes, and now I'm just here. I'm young and dumb, and I'm here.
That's what he does, man. He ruins everything.
Just ruined it. No, I took a week off social media to get away from all the toxicity, and it was wonderful. So I'm feeling really good, and I've been going to the gym because it's been open.
Oh,
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Did you cancel your Twitter account because it's very
No.
toxic? No.
I just logged out, and literally it was kind of insane that first day how many times I would type in TW in the Google chat just to get it up there, but every time I log in, log out. So it's just, for a whole week almost, and I was nuts. So
Yeah,
I think it was
exactly.
good. I think everybody needs to do that. So
Excellent choice of words. Nuts. Yeah. So the theme of tonight is blue balls, is nuts. What is it? Dicks in the water, and then
Yes, dicks in the water and testicular autism.
Autism.
Testicular autism,
and of course alligators in the Florida wilds. Yeah, and Florida man.
but doesn't that whole entire thing just sound like it's a Florida man story in the making?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
He starts off with blue balls, gets the autism. Eventually, his dick gets stuck in the water, and then an alligator comes and
ends
Yeah,
it all.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
ruins it.
No,
Speaking of,
we're going to come across that, Zach.
Sends him to the promised land.
well, speaking of alligators, Bob's not here. For those in the chat who might not know, he's got to work a double shift tonight,
Again.
and so I told him that I'd be drinking a double in his honor. And I'd just like to say that some people may think that artificially inseminating alligators is a glamorous job, but Bob, we here at Pontificators know that it's a very difficult,
That's right.
very strenuous, very respectful, and let's face it, critical job in this here United States. So to Florida Man and Comic Book Bob.
Yes.
You're here.
Click, click, click. Yeah, we need more alligators, so keep the job up, Bob.
Yeah.
That is a very recent story, by the way, that actually happened. A man was killed after he raped an alligator, or while he was raping an alligator. Which is so, and I think this is
He
true.
deserves it.
I think Ben Henderson knew him.
Yeah.
I think Ben Hennessy knew him.
and he knew him and knew that this guy had this sort of, what do you call it? Habit, right?
Predilection, Todd.
Predilection. I was looking for the P word. Because
I'm here.
We've been
I
talking
got your
about
back,
penises since we started. So I was looking for the P word, and yes, this actually happened, and this guy died.
Florida Man
Couldn't have
dies
happened to
while
a better
having
guy.
Florida Man
Sorry,
dies while having sex with alligator.
That's the headline right there. Yep. Well,
how? Okay, no.
It wasn't consensual.
It's consensual. It's not rape.
What's happening to the world, man? You never heard these kind of stories before. What? Something's going on.
They were happening. We just didn't have social media.
Don't burst my bubble, young and dumb.
Hey,
Well,
you know Geiger, H.R. Geiger, that artist dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Well, you know what? That alligator was dressing sexy and was asking for it. So, I don't blame that Florida man, because I think, he just saw that alligator and lost his shit. It happens.
That's right.
It happens. That gator, some high, what is those F me pumps? A low skirt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Way above her
stilettos, man. Stilettos, baby.
Not to
That's
burst anybody's bubble, but there is no bestiality in Florida Man at all. So
What?
just saying.
Well, I'll buy it anyway.
All right.
Well, in that case, I'll have to pick one up too.
Yeah.
But there is mud wrestling. There is mud wrestling.
There is. It looks really good, man. And we usually say caution about trailers on my show. We look at a lot of these Indiegogo projects, and dude, that's probably the best one we've seen, man.
Dude. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna because we were gonna start with the respect for Denny O'Neil, but let's go right into the Florida Man trailer, because I think we got a good head of steam here, and then we can also come back around towards the end of the show. Let's see what we got here, and we'll get Todd to talk up some Florida Man stuff. So, Todd, what is Florida Man?
Well, there is a lot of it ripped from those headlines, right? And Gary Duba, who is the main character of this story, it's like he's the quintessential Florida Man. All those things that have been done, let's say they were all done by one person. And it happens to be Gary. But
including Gator rape?
Except for that. But Gary's way into this is very like accidental, and it's played really straight. It's just every day Gary has a bad day. And he kind of snowballs into these headlines. Best way to put it.
It sounds like 2020 to me. Every day's been a bad day since we went into the new year. Okay, so guys, I always say it, man. That illustration this is the main character riding the gator. That thing is absolutely brilliant and hilarious, my friend.
Thank you.
And so working on this with you is Mike Barron. And is this based on his novel?
The comic came first, right?
Okay.
And he shopped it. I did a few pages and he shopped it around, and there was no takers. So he wrote a novel, right, based on the first 5 issues. So when we got together to do this, and finally solidified that we were gonna crowdfund it, I made sure that I didn't want to do an adaptation of the novel, right? Because really that's tough. You know, why, if you can spend $9, then why spend $25, so to speak? So I was like, okay, it's got to be different, and it has to be visually, appealing. So we've been tweaking this and playing with it, and of course, I found my approach to it, and I think we've really me and Mike have come to a place where, okay, if you're gonna do this, let's talk about it and we'll figure it out. Because he's willing to give me a little leeway on some things. So I think people will be pleasantly surprised if you have read the Florida Man novel, that you're gonna get something very, very different. It's a lot more zany because there's a lot you can do visually that you can't. I mean, the visuals tell a story, and there's a lot that you can do there that people go, "Oh my God," So there's a few moments like that.
So you launched. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Chester.
No. I just was going to compliment him on listening to us and making the panties on the cheerleader smaller. So.
Oh yeah,
good.
this shot here.
Yeah. No, the other one.
Oh, the cheerleader. There you go. Yeah,
it's much better. Much better.
It worked out. It was a good note. It was a good note there. Yeah. So you launched this morning. You already have 19 backers. You're at 750. Your fixed goal is 7,500, which I think you will hit no problem. The great Mike Barron is your co-partner on this. So this is going to be the cover right here?
It is going to be the cover, yes.
This thing is amazing. I know I tell this story all the time, but before I even really knew, I think I knew Todd, but I didn't know he drew this. And then as soon as Todd told me he had drawn this cover, I was like, holy shit, you're that guy that drew that guy riding the gator jumping over the Ferrari. That's awesome, man. You're like a celebrity to me.
That's one of my favorite all-time covers. Marvel, DC, Indie, I don't care. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and I like the woman. She's just like, yeah, let it fly, baby. Celebrating Florida Man.
When Mike presented that, we talked about, hey, what do you want for a cover? Da, da, da. And he said that. I was like, man, really? And I really thought this is going to be tough. And trust me, it was tough. Because you go look at alligators, and nobody has a picture of an alligator kind of coming at you. Because I found a lot of underwater pictures and stuff. And this is really a composite of reference.
Yeah. You know why that is, Todd? You know why?
I know why.
Because if a gator's coming at you from that angle, you're dead.
Right.
Yeah. Don't stand in front of alligators. Rule number 1.
So it was really finding the perfect reference and then executing the idea. I really, you're right. A lot of people know me for this picture. When I went to the last convention I went to, I was surprised, really surprised by how many people go, "Oh my God, you're the guy that drew that." Da, 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 da. And it was really, really flattering.
That's cool.
But I was really like, look, that's Brett Smith coloring that, right?
Beautiful.
In the black and white artwork, I don't have those gradients of trees in the back, those vectors. He did all that. He added a lot. That's a synergy of me and Brett, and it's really, really came out really well.
Is Brett coloring the interiors as well?
No, he's not.
Who's doing the interior work?
His I don't know how to say his name. Ichsan and Senari, Indonesian colorist.
Okay.
Found.
Yeah, I've seen some of the interior though. It looks good.
Yeah, they look good.
That he colored that. A lot of people tried to color that postcard. Not, I'm giving away secrets, right? A lot of people color that postcard, and and my thing was, because you guys know I dabble in color. Like I colored this piece you're showing right now, right? And I dabble in it. I always say I'm a passable colorist. So my idea was I'll choose anybody that is like heads and tails above me. And we find
head and shoulders. It's head and shoulders above you.
Well, not with that conversation before with the sex with a gator. I'm pretty sure the tail comes into play.
Heads and gator tails above Todd.
That's right.
Well, this piece is really nice. That girl is cuter than cute. Okay, so these are the interiors right here.
I have a question though. It's a rather important one. Why are they beating up the Easter Bunny?
Oh, that's one of the art for the tears, right?
Yeah, that's a cover by Joe. No, is it Joe Comstock? Yeah, Joe Comstock. Who lent us, he gave this as a pinup to Mike. So that's one of the pinups that'll be in the book.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's based on a real life incident.
Yes. Yeah.
Florida man gets in fight with Easter Bunny.
What the hell's wrong with Florida? What happened? What's going on? I thought that was old Jude man's land. What happened? I thought that was the second Jerusalem. What's going on in Florida, man?
Retirement Central, yeah.
Yeah.
Mike had 2 ideas for a second cover, and this was one of them, this Easter Bunny moment, and sort of nunchuck iguanas.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I may do that at some point because we got a few little giveaways to add to this.
Oh my God.
Gary riding a wild boar definitely might be in there because we got some trading cards to do and some postcards. So.
Well, you got to have one of them bring a gator into that liquor store. Did you ever see that clip, that video of that guy bringing an alligator?
Wait till you start the video. It's there.
It is. It is. Is that a Daytona sitting in the back, dude?
You mean the Louvers?
The car.
Yeah, the louvered car. That's a Daytona, a Shelby, right?
I'm guessing. I don't know.
He didn't draw it.
I didn't.
Okay.
All right, we're bringing back funny books, y'all. Okay, so let's keep moving. Go in order. So we have. So is this going to be an alternate cover, or is this just an ad right here?
That won't be a cover at all. That's just a promo that I did.
Okay, that thing's brilliant. It's really cool. So these are interiors right here. So this some kind of stakeout? Is that what's going on here?
Yes, that is a stakeout. You're right. And Gary goes to this lawyer who he wants him to help trademark his house suspenders idea. And the guy goes, "Well, I'm really not that kind of lawyer, but if you do this for me, I'll do something for you," kind of thing. And he goes on a stakeout for the lawyer.
Very cool. And so then here's another interior page. This one cracks up all the gestures with the listening with the cup to the ear. Yeah. And then I don't know what this thing is in that middle panel, that fourth panel, but
Oh, I've met her before. Her name's Irene.
That's a tall drink of water.
Yeah, it is, baby. Yeah, it is. She'll smother you with love, Joe.
or
Purple
he
Thunder.
he will smother you with love.
Either way.
That's quite a package that she's got there.
Yeah, I know. Why, Todd?
Well, I don't think
Damn.
I don't think she used to be trifled with, because she's got kind of a death grip on that dude.
The last panel there where he's got that reaction with the finger in his mouth is because the other guy comes running out of the hotel, which you'll in the very next page, and is just got nothing on, you know. So it's basically his reaction.
I wonder who this guy is right here. He looks familiar.
That's the mouth of the South there. What was his name? It's not Bobby Heenan.
Possibly Ben Hennessy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll get you off one way or another. I'm sorry, man. This shit cracks me up, man. Oh, and I love the backstory. We're gonna play the video, and then you guys will kind of know what this next shot is. But this opening shot here with this house, it's absolutely it's comedic genius. I don't throw genius out, quite a bit, but this idea, this business that he gets into, or his invention, is pretty funny. So yeah, you guys come by, check out the interiors. There's all kinds of stuff, but I'm going to go up and I'm going to show that video because I think it'll give you more context to everything. So here we go. Florida Man video here.
Hey man, y'all got beer still?
You've seen the stories. Now, writer Mike Barron and artist Todd Mulrooney are bringing the quintessential Florida Man, Gary Duba, to life. Gary's just a regular guy living in a trailer with his girlfriend Crystal, but he's got dreams, big dreams. He just invented house suspenders that will secure any home to the ground in rough weather. And now he's going to show them off on Piranha Pool, the TV show where venture capitalists and entrepreneurs pony up if they like your pitch. But when his gal Crystal gains notoriety as an infamous amateur wrestler, she quickly advances to the pro circuit where her greatest challenge is an angry Australian grappler. Follow Gary and Crystal on their extraordinary journey from rags to riches. To rags, to riches, to rags, to riches, all while dealing with shady lawyers, toilet snakes, wild gators, cheating hearts, feral hogs, and problem shoppers. Back Florida Man today and reserve your very own copy of the Florida Man graphic novel. We're bringing back funny books, y'all.
God, that's hilarious, man. That is so good.
So
I actually love how you drew Crystal in the wrestling. It looks like she's got a bit of a gut. That's perfect.
How she becomes sort of famous, she cold cocks a cop with a large black dildo.
That's wonderful.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So she becomes known as the
Kids book.
Steely Daniela.
All right, Todd. Well, quickly explain the tiers here, because we'll come back to this, and for anybody that missed it towards the end of the show, but I want to give a good highlight of everything. So your featured tier is
$25 for the graphic novel, which will be square bound.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I really wanted to push for that. Because I think if we hit all our stretch goals, we might end up at somewhere around 80 pages. So I pushed for square bound. I wanted that hard stock cover. So that's what we're looking at. So, that's what that tier is all about. You get the graphic novel. This is not a floppy. This is more than 2 issues. It'll probably end up being somewhere around 4 if everything goes well. So I hope everyone will jump in on this, even if you only jump in on this tier, because that's important to me. That's what's the most important thing, is getting the book into your hands.
Yeah.
Little extras that are there, and you may want those, but getting the book out into your hands is the most important thing.
So this is not a one and done. So this is going to be 4 issues.
No. It's a graphic novel, but it may be as big as 4 issues. As
The
far
one
as
issue.
lengthwise.
Oh,
that's
okay.
cool.
I understand.
Yeah.
Total
Yeah.
page count.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 80 pages. So 4 20-page stories. Okay.
Right.
I got it. Very cool. So then we have Florida Man autographed pack. So Todd Mulrooney, who's that? Is he going to be signing this?
Yeah, and of course in this climate, it'll be tough because we're looking at both me and Mike flying to where the books will be, put out by. You know what I mean? Wherever the location that they go to, we'll have to go there.
You know where you should go is you should have them all shipped to a gator farm in Florida, and you should do a live signing, and you guys
Right.
all sign while you're in the middle of a gator pit.
Yeah, live stream it.
Yeah, and see if you can't get an interview with the Tiger King from his prison cell. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, that'll be the follow up to Florida Man.
That's right.
Okay, so then this is the autograph pack. So you get Mike Barron's signature, you get Todd Mulrooney's signature, you get a digital version. What is a prose? Oh, the prose novel PDF. Oh, cool. And then the print version, and then 5 postcards. So is that like the cheerleader one? That's one of the postcards, and then the girl getting her panties pulled down by the gator. Is that another one?
Yeah, so far, those are the 2 that we have so far.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so then we got the retailer bundle.
There'll be a wrestling one too. I've been working on an idea for that, so it'll look like an old wrestling poster.
Oh, very cool. So then the retailer bundle is $100 for 6 copies. So if I'm doing the math, is that like buy 4 get, or buy 5 get 1 free? Is that kind of the math?
I think it's 2, right? No.
Oh no, yeah, you get 2 free. Yeah.
2 free. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
good
and
deal.
a retailer from Florida, who a store I used to go to, was the first retailer to get those. So.
Oh, very cool. So you
I
already got
used to live in Florida when I was going to college, and my dad lived there.
1 claimed. Okay, so this is the Florida Man Beach Party bundle. So is this one of everything? Is that kind of the idea?
Yes, and while granted it looks like it's a high price, but the merchandise that's in there, one of those things, is really costly. So
Wait a minute. Wait. I got to back up. This is not one of everything that we just saw. This has a T-shirt, a metal lunchbox, and a beach towel. Holy shit. For $150?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you guys are giving this tier away. I'm not even kidding. That's a lot.
That's fantastic.
It is. Can my lunchbox have the Blue Falcon and Dynamite on it?
No, dude, it's got Florida Man. Jeez.
Yeah. And I don't, I want to do artwork for the entire lunchbox, but I don't know that the company that we're using goes for that. They may just go for the two sides. Mm-hmm. But man, I would really like to see if it's something I can do.
I actually know the answer to that, Todd. It's 2 wraps. There's the lid, which is the picture is flattened, and then of course when it gets bent into shape, the edges will take the part of it, and the other one is looks like a short cross. That's how they do it. So your printing is done in 2 pieces, and then it's put together.
And Chester knows this because he moonlights as a lunchbox salesman.
The towel, you wouldn't believe how much it actually costs to make.
Dude, I do. That's why I said $150, and you're getting a metal lunchbox T-shirt and beach towel. That's crazy. Yeah, but don't tell people. They don't need to know. Okay, so be a ladies wrestling valet. So what is this all about?
Valet is like a manager. There's 2 wrestlers, so there's 2 spots there for somebody to be the wrestler's manager or valet.
So you draw them into the comic, right?
Right, and then they'll stay around the ring, right? You know, you might only see their head or whatever, but you'll get a few shots out of that, right? It's not just a one walking down the ramp and the little bit of pop that the wrestlers do. No, this will be a little bit more. So the valets stay, and then there's the next tier is the referee tier. And I thought this was ingenious because I got this idea from our last guest. I thought, which area where I can draw somebody a lot, like they would really like to be seen quite a bit. And there's 4 pages of wrestling. So being the referee, you're going to get seen on 4 pages multiple times.
That's awesome.
Could you draw me as the he/she?
With the death grip.
That's right. It's perfect.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, there has to be some accidental nudity in this wrestling match.
Yeah. Nip slip, y'all.
A boob pops out. Oops. Janet Jackson.
Well, Todd did do a Coppertone tribute on one of those postcards.
Yeah, let's find it.
That was excellent.
You know, the funny thing about that is, I actually just a couple weeks ago, after Todd mentioning that, I actually saw Coppertone in the the sunscreen stuff in the convenience store. I didn't even know it was still around. Huh?
It's further down.
Oh, it's further down. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm giving everybody vertigo here.
It's actually at the very end, I believe.
Oh, there's the lunchbox.
Oh.
Oh, there's the beach.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, that t-shirt's killer.
That's great.
Yeah, and you're showing them too. Good on you, dude.
I like that t-shirt. I really want to get that.
And Todd, did you design the logo?
No, I did not design the logo. And
I
I'm
did.
not even sure who did.
Okay.
I did, Joe. I designed it.
Well, it's an excellent design, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah. I do what I can, I do what I can. Well, very cool. So there's the Coppertone, the Florida Man. I'm telling you, you got to make some of these shirts now so you can wear them on your live streams.
I actually have the what do they call that? The PNG, so I can put it on my site and get it in. Because I like to wear what's that? The dry wick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thing. And I'll
so if you guys don't know what Todd looks like, that's what Todd looks like right there.
Exactly, precisely.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know what Mike Barron looks like, that's exactly what Mike Barron looks like right there.
Except he's a little bit more of a scarecrow, but
I don't know, man. He's pretty skinny right here. He's pretty scarecrow-ish. All right, well let's get that's very cool. Let's get back to our stream. That's awesome, man. Florida Man looks great. Everybody go back it. The link is in the description. And now we are going to bring it down a notch or two. It was a sad, I'm not sure when we lost Denny, if it was today or if it was last night, but we're going to have Joe and he's going to talk us through it. We lost a comic book icon, man. And the guy has contributed so much. I actually have a couple, I have some stories with him, but I didn't really have too much personal dealings with him. He never worked as an editor or anything like that, but they're fun stories. So, Joe, you want to give us a little bit of context here?
Sure. So, yeah, Denny O'Neil, he passed away yesterday. As far as we know, it was natural causes. He was 81 years old, and he was one of the literal, in my opinion, living legends of the comic book industry. He had done work for both Marvel and DC Comics, primarily known for his DC work. And he'd also worked at Charlton Comics for a time. So he was very well known in the industry and beloved by countless people, from coworkers to readers. He was known as one of the good guys in the industry. And there were quite a few things that he was known for. Probably most people know him for his Batman work in the 70s with Neil Adams, where Denny was writing and Neil was illustrating. But he had a real impact in multiple areas of the industry. For example,
let's back up for a minute. Wasn't there a character named Ra's al Ghul that he might have had something to do with?
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. He created Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul, along with Neil Adams. He created multiple characters. Those I would say are the big ones. But then, as Todd mentioned, we had Graham Nolan on the show last week. Graham being the co-creator of Bane with Chuck Dixon, and Denny O'Neil was their editor on the Bat books during the 90s. And so Denny was the one who not only was editing those guys during their run, but Denny created the character of Azrael. And as Graham was saying on our show last week, and if anybody in the chat hasn't watched that, I highly recommend it. As Graham was saying, the plan to break Batman's back and get him out of the way for a while and allow Azrael to wear the Batsuit was all about DC had been receiving some mail, and I'm imagining that they probably got some of this feedback at conventions as well, but they were getting some reader feedback about saying that, Batman for the longest time has been this hero who has a very firm code about how he does not kill, so on and so forth. There's certain lines he just will not cross. But, it's the 90s, and that's all kind of old-fashioned, and Batman should be more of a Punisher type of a hero, and blah, blah, blah. Not really understanding that the Punisher's not a hero. The Punisher was never a hero. The Punisher was always an anti-hero. And Denny O'Neil was the one who had the idea of saying, okay, well, let's show readers what it would be like if Batman was not a hero. Let's show readers what it would be like if Batman was an anti-hero. And, of course, to do that and still honor who Bruce Wayne is, we'll have to sideline Bruce Wayne for a while and have someone else, a true killer, wear the Batsuit for a while. And so the idea of breaking Batman's back and getting him out of the way, so to speak, so that Azrael could take a run at protecting Gotham City his own way with no holds barred. That was something that Denny O'Neil was instrumental in developing that story. So they created Azrael, and they had planned from the beginning to have Azrael the killer as a contrast to Bruce Wayne the hero. And so as a result of that, they created Bane, Graham and Chuck did. And that whole run, Nightfall, and then the return of Bruce Wayne to the Batsuit, Denny O'Neil was instrumental in that.
Actually, my favorite Denny O'Neil was his Question run.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, his Question run was fantastic. He wrote the Question with was it Dennis Cowan was illustrating when Denny was writing. He also had the fantastic Green Arrow, Green Lantern series.
That changed my life as a kid, man. There's a scene in that book where, they're both at odds, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, because what they did is they're both heroes in their own way, but they kind of had different, approaches. It's kind of like what's happening now in politics, where, we all kind of want racism gone, but everybody has a different way of approaching it, and some people are a little bit more militant about it than others. And so that's kind of the difference between Green Arrow and Green Lantern, is they have a different approach and a different philosophy of what people need and how they should be protected. So they finally have this moment where they can't turn the cheek anymore, and so they just decide that they're just going to have a knockdown drag out. So it's already, if Hal Jordan has the ring, it's unfair of a fight. So they both put their weapons down and they just beat the living shit out of each other for like 4 or 5 pages. And I just remember as a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so visceral. And Neil Adams' artwork was amazing. And they actually seemed like they were trying to kill each other, man. They were out to prove, like not through their beliefs or the philosophy or debate, but physically trying to beat the other to win the argument or the debate or whatever. And it was truly amazing. And I'd never seen that kind of depth in a comic book before as a kid. And that still, resonates and connects with me. I'm still like, I remember every panel from that.
It seems contemporarily poignant.
Yeah, because those are universal truths. Those are things that are, the human experience.
And one of the things that Denny O'Neil has been admired and respected for by many comic book fans is that when he was writing the Green Arrow, Green Lantern run, there was a very obvious contrast set up in the storyline where Hal Jordan was a conservative and Oliver Queen was a liberal. And Denny was able to show the
character traits.
Yeah, the character traits of the two men and how they not only contrasted with each other, but also how they complemented each other, and how you could have two people with differing political ideologies both be equally heroic.
And both want the same thing in the end. They just have different approaches to get there. Yeah,
they could both work together to achieve a common goal, even if they had different methodologies for achieving that goal.
And the reason it was better is because they didn't come out and say, well, one's conservative and progressive. That's the problem with a lot of stories these days, is they're too direct with it. I think, when you tell a story the way Denny did and Neil Adams did on that run, you can kind of distance yourself from it and not have a knee-jerk reaction to it. You know what I mean? Like, you can enjoy it for what it is, and then if you're a little older, or you start realizing, oh, these are parallels. This is what he's doing here, but he's not actually doing them. You know what I mean? So I don't think you can be offended by it per se. And it was done in a very fair way. I didn't think that he was necessarily saying one was right or one was wrong either.
Yeah.
Right.
And, because of his editing that he did as well as an editor, I'm just looking at this thing on the site. I didn't know this. He's credited in 2,321 comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah. His influence is enormous. And he was one of the creators that I consider to be critical in helping to guide comics from the Silver Age into the Bronze Age. For example, one of the things that some people may not know is that Denny O'Neil is the one who let me think. Who was the guy?
Give us.
I'm trying to remember the guy. Who was the guy that was drawing Frank Miller right before? I'm sorry. Who was drawing Daredevil right before
David Mazzucchelli?
Drawing Daredevil.
Magar.
Mazzucchelli.
It was Mazzucchelli right before Frank took over.
Gene Colan.
Gene. No. Gene Colan was before that, right?
Before Frank Miller, Gene Colan, and a few other guys, but they didn't have long runs.
Which Miller run was there?
Okay, so I may have to look this up. It was
okay. let me back up because this
The
is how
night-
I remember it. I remember there was Daredevil and Denny O'Neil was drawing or writing it, and David Mazzucchelli was penciling it, and I do think that Joe Rubinstein was inking it, and then I think they moved aside for the Frank Miller run, and then Frank Miller came back and worked with David Mazzucchelli on the Born Again series, right?
Okay.
But your
Yeah,
point is,
So my point is that Denny O'Neil had previously worked at Marvel Comics in the 60s, and then he'd come over to DC, and then he went back to Marvel in 1980, and he wrote a couple of issues of Amazing Spider-Man, or maybe more. He did it for about a year. And he wrote a couple issues of Spider-Man Annual, which were drawn by Frank Miller. And then through that, he became an editor for a while on Daredevil with Frank and David Mazzucchelli. Frank writing, Mazzucchelli drawing.
Was
So
that was the Born Again?
Yeah, so I think that's what you were referring to, Art.
Yeah,
I had gotten a couple of the dates mixed up, but yeah, that was. And here's something I found that I had not known prior to this, and I was kind of blown away by it. But while he was working for Marvel in the early to mid '80s, he helped write the original character concept for the Transformers, and he's the one credited as naming Optimus Prime.
Oh, interesting.
yeah. You know, actually, for the younger people who don't really understand exactly how big this dude is, may I take a moment and list off some of his notable creations, if I might? Because we always do obituaries on my show, and we do it here, of course, to show respect. But we haven't had anyone in the comic book industry pass away that is as big as him since Stan, I think. And of course, Stan. But I mean, of course, he did Raj Al Ghul and his daughter, of course. But John Stewart, Black Canary, the League of Assassins itself, Lady Shiva.
Wait. He did not create Black Canary.
The original Dinah Laurel Lance, he did.
Are you? What was the original Black Canary?
Isn't that the original?
I thought that predated, like, really. Well, if this happened, then man, that's pretty cool. Because I actually thought that that was before his time. So he's been doing comics for a long time. Because that dates back to Justice Society stuff.
Yeah, no, he's been around a long time. He was really 81 years old.
Before the Justice League, yeah, that's a long time.
Yep, the list is incredibly long. All the Tigers, Bronze Tiger and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He did all that stuff. Airwave, of course, which has become a little more popular here in the past, 15 years. We've seen him around a couple times, right? And I think he did more than one version of it, didn't he? Of course, another big one, Lady Deathstrike, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Hydro Man, which Kill Raven, really good one. Let's see what else on here is on this list. Reaper, of course. He did a few versions of that as well. And Zebediah Stane, that's right. Yeah.
Warmonger. Right. I hope his
right.
royalties were good for the movie, the first Iron Man movie.
Right. And there's a whole bunch of other ones that I don't think the younger viewers would know anyway. But I'm just saying, this dude, not only a writer but an editor, he's in your comic book, even if you don't know he is. Right. He's important.
And I did find the date I was trying to think of when Denny O'Neil joined Marvel's editorial staff in 1980. He fired Roger McKenzie so that Frank Miller could both write and pencil Daredevil, and
it was a good move.
Yeah, and at the time, Jim Shooter, the editor-in-chief, says that decision by O'Neil is what saved the series from cancellation. And then, of course, we all know that Daredevil, became a big seller for Marvel, and that run that Frank wrote and drew and Denny edited is one of the all-time greatest runs in comic book history.
one of my favorite. That Born Again series is amazing. But I'll tell you that Denny O'Neil was no slouch on Daredevil, because he did work with David Mazzucchelli early on. So David Mazzucchelli, you wouldn't even recognize. He just looks like a normal, like, Marvel staple. You know what I mean? He didn't have the style yet, and he's inked by Joe Rubenstein. But those stories were great. I still remember some of the visuals. So you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty amazing when, because I had no idea this inventory existed in my head of all these stories that he had written that I still remember from my childhood. And this is a sad day indeed.
It is. And I did check Art just to make sure I wasn't wrong, and I was wrong. He didn't create the original. He created her daughter, which is the Black Canary everyone knows.
Okay.
I thought he had done the original one, but no, he did the one we all know. So
yeah, because that character dates back pretty damn far. Yeah. Let me read Super Chat before we go any further. Big Red for $2. See if Todd M will have John Malin give you a shout out. Yeah, so I think John, it's about $1,000, Todd. If you give John $1,000, he'll have you on his show, because it's all pay to play now with John.
Is it?
It's all about the greenback.
John has actually helped the campaign behind the scenes a little bit, as far as creating the right look and answering a lot of questions. He's been very instrumental in helping him out.
Yeah, John.
I hope I get to get on his show so that I can personally thank him.
Yeah, there's an okay. I have this. It's absolutely hilarious. Okay, so I did a run on Doc Savage with Howard Porter. It was cool, you know, because the Man of Bronze or whatever.
Right.
Thing is, my mom used to read the novels, and then when I got old enough, I got to read the novels too. So I was always thought, like, that's a great pulp character. So anyway, so I'm doing the run, and I think I either started going through some of my old comic books, or DC did a like repackaging of some Doc Savage books of past. And so I'm going through this book, and I'm looking at it, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, holy shit, this sounds so familiar. And so then I realized it's the exact plot that George Lucas wrote for the last Indiana Jones movie. Yeah. All that stuff is in that story. I mean, it was like lifted, with the exception of the, you know what? I want to say that there was a son involved too, I think, in that story. So it was almost like just completely lifted, like beginning, middle, and end from that Doc Savage story that Denny O'Neil wrote way, way back when. And I think, I think it was Kubert, one of the Kubert brothers, that drew the story, if I'm not mistaken. So it's older, but it's not like ancient.
I have a lot of Doc Savage. I love it. Matter of fact, want to show my screen? Look familiar?
Oh, those are the pages I worked on. Holy shit!
Yes, they are.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah, you did a really good Doc Savage, man. I liked it. Yours was yours was more bulky. I liked it more, actually, because a lot of who did the run. I mean, it might be part of this run, but who did that run that they really did high-end art like this for him, but he was more that lean Tarzan build instead of this more rock build? Who did those?
Was that DC? I don't know who did that.
I'm not sure if it was DC, but I remember those. I love those too. But these are cool.
Yeah, I think he should be a bigger guy. So thank you, Super Sticker. I do appreciate the super chats. Thank you so very much.
Well, I appreciate his icon. That's what I appreciate.
He's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a quote from Denny O'Neil that I think is worth reading. And he was talking about after he became group editor for the Batman titles in the 90s. And he was referring to his role in the death of Jason Todd, who most people who would know as the second Robin, and then eventually became the Red Hood. And Denny O'Neil said, these characters have a lot more weight than the hero. of a popular sitcom that lasts maybe 4 years. They've become post-industrial folklore, and part of this job is to be the custodian of folk figures. Everybody on Earth knows Batman and Robin. And then he had also said that he saw editing as a support role which should be invisible to the reader, and that if it were his choice, his name would not appear in the credits when working as an editor, only when working as a writer.
Wow.
And so, I wanted to read that because it really speaks to his humility. And so here's this guy who's literally a legend in the industry, and even when everyone in the industry knew his name, he didn't see his role as an editor to quote unquote put his own take on the characters or on a title. It was all about supporting the creative people who were trying to successfully steward these characters for the current generation and then future generations to come.
Yeah, definitely. I just remember like my only personal experience with Denny O'Neil is when I first started working at DC Comics. I was like, I got to get in and I got to talk to this guy. So this is very, very young. I'm like, Batman. I just have to do a Batman run. So I went in there and he's just like, whatever. And I think his assistant, Dan Raspler, was like, he's just very busy right now. Can I help you? And so I said, I would do anything to draw Batman. I do, you're young. You're like, I do anything. And he's like, okay, well, do you have any samples? I go, yeah, I got samples. So, I gave him, he made some copies and put them in the file cabinet. So, I'm young and stupid. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to be penciling Batman soon. So my ongoing adventure with Denny O'Neil was every 6-8 months that I go, because I live in California, so I'd always go to New York City. Especially in the early days, you had to have a presence, So I'd fly to New York and I'd spend weeks, living there and just kind of harassing editors. So all that time I'd work on my Batman samples, and then I'd go in as like, Denny, how about now? And he's like, no. Denny, how about now? No. And this went on for years and years. This probably went on for 10, 12 years. And even when I was working on Superman and I was in the Superman office, I still wasn't good enough for Batman.
Wow.
And I was like, what do I have to do? And I just remember I had a good relationship with Dan Raspler, and Dan was just, I just remember a conversation with him, and he's just like, I don't know, Art. I don't know. Like he had nothing else to tell me. He was just like, I've told you everything. I consoled you in every way I can. I can't tell you anything else. So I just never quite understood what, either I wasn't doing or was doing that wasn't up to Denny O'Neil's standards on those bad books.
Apparently you weren't Neil Adams or Graham Nolan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wasn't on that level.
But you did do a lot of Batman stuff.
Later, after Denny
Arkham Knight and stuff like that. Yeah,
after Denny retired. Yeah. It had to come to that. Denny had to leave the office for me to get Batman work. Yeah.
Yeah, and then even after he retired from active work at DC, he taught writing for comics at Manhattan School of Visual Arts.
Yeah.
He wrote the book, which I own, How to Write for DC Comics. He still was contributing to the industry, and really was one of those guys where you're not going to see another one. He really was one of a kind.
Well, I think that editorially speaking, and we've talked about on Pontificators, I just don't think those individual editors have that kind of power anymore. I don't think they make the decisions, and I don't think that they have that kind of leadership. I think they're basically being micromanaged on high, and so they're just glorified middlemen.
Well, they also don't have the talent or experience or vision, or we could go. Many adjectives could be applied. Some of them not allowed to be spoken on YouTube. So I'll hold that to myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very apparent, Chester, when Marvel, even when I worked there, they fired the whole editorial, all the senior editors, all the editorial staff, and they kept two people. They kept Ralph Macchio and they kept Tom Brevoort. That was it. And then they brought people in like CB and what was the other guy's name?
Is it Axel Alonso?
No, well, he was one of them, but it was that guy that has that name like that rocker. What is that guy's name? But he's a prominence now, and he does a lot of their videos and stuff like that.
Nick Lowe.
You mean
Nick Lowe,
Mr. Sana Amanat?
Nick Lowe, yeah.
The world's not fair. The world isn't right.
Yeah. So those guys had no skill. They had no understanding. And so what they did is they used Ralph, since he was good at proofreading. They had Ralph proofread, and then I think that Tom Breeford did the same. So those guys just proofread the entire line of books. You know what I mean? And it was
Copy
absolutely
editing.
insane. Yeah, and then they got to hire the younger guys at a less price, and pretty much just didn't have any competition as far as power structure. You know.
Yeah, I actually have a question since we're talking about, old school, actual editors. One of my favorite series is actually The Boys. I love that a lot. And it is subversive. It is kind of, in a way, anti-comic, but it's done in the right way. And I love that series a lot. And in that series, there's a character who is kind of retired, but he used to be a major comic book editor. Right now, I always thought initially that that was simply representing Stan Lee, this hard-nosed editor, Stan Lee. But someone was telling me it's not; it's someone else. So, who is that's supposed to be representing then?
I have no idea.
Maybe there's someone in the
I'll
chat
try and
knows,
look it up.
but that's Garth Ennis, right, with The Boys. So,
Yeah. Garth did one of the best Punisher runs. I think that guy understood the Punisher on a level that no one else really has. Because I'm not even a Punisher fan, but I liked all the stuff that Garth wrote.
well, I think Mike Baron did a pretty good Punisher run too.
I don't know if I read that. How do you
Yeah.
feel about that, Florida man?
It actually is really good.
Do you have any insight?
That was a pitch, Todd.
No, I don't have any insight. I remember, as far as Mike Baron goes, there was his first DC work was like Flash, right? I remember the Punisher run, and then I read all of Nexus. I don't think I ever missed the issue.
Yeah,
but I wasn't big on Badger.
I love Badger. That's my favorite Mike Baron. But that Punisher run was excellent. It was.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing that Mike does really well, and I agree with you. Garth Ennis is really good at that. He does he seems to be locked in on it, but with the Punisher, particularly in from what you said. The thing about Mike Baron that he does really, really well is he understands the psychology of a thing, and he writes it really well. One of the things I always would love to see him get this. He should have been this guy that they put Moon Knight on, because he would have killed that. Because he gets that, right? And I don't know why it never happened. It's very bizarre to me.
That's funny. As soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Editorial leadership, man. Editorial leadership. Yeah. I wonder if Nick Lowe's listening. He could actually hire Mike.
He's still kicking around. Man. He's got a book out. He got a couple books. He had a good. He had the Nexus novel come out, and it did pretty well, didn't it, Todd?
Oh yeah, it did really well.
Yeah.
He almost 20,000.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
And that's for a book, right? A novel.
Yeah, a novel.
Yeah. So you guys want to move on? I think Chester had a news article, and did Zach have one?
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about it, Zach? You haven't talked in a while?
Yeah.
I did have one.
You want to go first, Chester, or you want me to go first?
Oh no, please. You've been very quiet. Let us shut up let the young and dumb speak. That's always a good idea.
Whoa! Oh, he says it.
All right. Let me get this over here to that and do this thing over here to this. There we go. Do we got the thing? Is all the thing set up?
Well, Art's going to have to do it, but he took a chance to run away and use the toilet, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's left you hanging is what he did. That's okay. We still love him.
Well, I don't know if anybody here plays video games anymore other than Chester, maybe.
I do. I play some video games, yeah.
Well, you play PC, so it's, Do you console at all?
Well, I will buy the PlayStation 5. I've bought all consoles that have come out since the beginning. I even had a Pong, but I kind of let my kids take them with them. So I'm
Okay.
console-less right now, but I shan't be for very long.
Yeah, I do. Are you even allowed to have an Xbox where you live?
No, that's a shootable offense. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Did you watch the reveal of the PlayStation 5?
I did. I saw the Xbox One too.
Real quick before I say things, what did you think about the PS5?
I thought that well, in comparison, I thought I think they're very different, to be honest with you. And it seems like they've almost kind of separating from each other. PlayStation always does a better job of revealing than Xbox does, but Xbox tends to have a better machine. So we'll see if that plays out. But I thought it was some very interesting stuff, some very nice looking things. But there was a theme. There was definitely a theme.
Hey, you caught on that too? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was super worrisome though. It's because I was hoping more from Sony. Thinking Japan, all the things you say, that they don't give in to this sort of wokeness. It felt like they were almost every game that they showed was really heavy with it.
Super woke, yeah. No,
Yeah.
And do keep in mind, I think the Japanese have basically said, screw them Western people, let them have their stupid kata, is that the word, kata? Yeah. But we do what we want to here. You don't get it. That's that. That was Chinese, by the way. It's not Japanese at all.
That's very racist.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyways,
Yeah.
other than the design of it, I'm not super excited about the design. It looks like an ice cream sandwich to me. That was the first thing I thought of.
Ooh, ice cream sandwiches are delicious.
Yeah, but I
They
don't want my
are.
console to look like an ice cream sandwich. But basically, to sum it up, literally, you just look right here. Look at that thing.
What is that?
Yeah. So they have this game called Returnal, and that's your main character. That's who you play as.
That's right. There's a lot of that too.
Game. Yeah, and that's that.
Is it a woman or a man?
It's supposed to be a woman.
It's a middle-aged woman. She doesn't need to be beautiful for you, Todd.
I really, actually, I'm trying not to be. I tend to, speak from the heart and get all dumb, as my name says. But I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to say like, oh, she's ugly and stuff like that. It's because like
no, be dumb because it's more entertaining.
Yeah, I know, but it's just when this was like one of the first ones they showed, and I was like, that can't be the only character. This has got to be like the mom.
Well, you know what it looks like? It looks like one of those, when you go to amusement parks and they have like the little cutout and you just stick your face in there and then take a picture. That's what it looks like to me. It doesn't even look like the face is supposed to be in that helmet. It doesn't look like it's part of it.
But this was kind of like the undertone, like this is one of the earlier ones they showed, and actually the very first one they showed was Ratchet and Clank, which is huge, like it's a long running series across the generations. And one of the things that happens in that trailer is that they show you some gameplay and stuff like that, but they have this snippet that was like, oh no, which was Clank goes into a different universe, and all of a sudden the Ratchet's gone. Or is it Ratchet? I can't remember which one. The robot.
Ratchet is the animal boy, and Clank is the robot.
Yeah. So Clank gets separated, and then all of a sudden it's like they totally got rid of Ratchet, and now he's a female.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And that was like the first step of worrisomeness, because it's like, I know that video games have been moving more and more towards it, but usually it was only happening, in like specific places like EA, but everybody hates EA. Everybody hates, Naughty Dog, EA, like these bigger places that everybody just hates now anyways, and they're really, putting, I don't care about this because that's just, it's miles.
Yeah. Fake Spider-Man. Who would care about that?
Yeah. Who cares? But, it was just, and they're not even showing it, but there's one game where it's literally furry lesbians.
No, it is. That's right.
It's just furry lesbians, and
the march went on. Like every game they're coming out with is a female character. You have no choice but to play it, which isn't necessarily a problem, but we know where it's coming from, and therefore the politics makes it a problem, right?
Yeah, because every single time there was like a female character, then it was like, by the way, they're also a lesbian. It's never like, it's there's a female character and then they're straight.
Yep.
Did you guys ever play Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, I loved it.
No,
Okay.
I heard it was good though. I did. Hear good things about
they showed the second one, and that looks exciting. This looks super exciting.
I was going to ask you about that, Zach, because I played the first one. It's one of the last games that I played before I had to give up video games in order to try and launch a publishing company. And the thing with that game was there was definitely some third wave feminist overtones to it, but for the most part, I found that to be trying to think of how to say this precisely.
Just say it like I would.
They had a story reason for it. There was this matriarchal society that was in the game, but there was an actual lore reason, so to speak, and the main character was this young girl, but she never came across as a Mary Sue or somebody who irritated you or did things that were totally outside the realm of possibility. So it was one of those games where I could see how some people might get a little irritated with some of the background story or some of the NPCs when they had dialogue in the cutscenes. But for the most part, I thought it was one of those games that actually did it well. And so I was curious if they were going to continue with the franchise or not. So, Zach, you think that the second game is going to be along the same lines?
I think by the trailer, I hope, and I agree with what you said, but in the gameplay is what made that game so fun, though.
Yeah.
And as long as they keep it focused on the gameplay and they're just making the gameplay more fun, I have no problem with them just continuing on with whatever story, because they were showing stuff and it looked more of like, the tribe and everything is in a serious threat that they have to try and expand out and save themselves. And that could actually have a lot of cool mechanics to it. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. This was the only one I was actually excited about, that and Hitman, because it's Hitman, damn it. Oh yeah. Well, Demon Souls too. Demon Souls remake. I'm all over that.
Yeah, J-Jax, you're right. That is not an actually standalone Miles Morales. It's kind of like a DLC for the. It's like an in between Spider-Man and Spider-Man Next. Yeah, but which whatever. I know there's a lot of fans for Miles, but I don't need fake Spider-Man. I never cared about it.
I liked the Spider-Verse. I thought that was a good show. That movie.
Yeah, but what was the coolest part of that? What was the coolest part of that?
That they brought all the Spider-Men together.
No, it wasn't. It was Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man 4.
Damn, he would. That was noir. Yeah, that was super cool.
And they made a point of killing Peter not once but twice.
Yeah,
good on them.
I thought the art direction on that movie, that Into the Spider-Verse, was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, definitely gorgeous. But I get what Zach is saying with the if you watch the theme of it, it's just more of the SJW stuff, and it's unfortunate because there'll be a lot of people who just won't play it. I mean,
it's probably the fence of whether or not I go do an Xbox this time around instead, because I've been flipping back and forth based on kind of seeing what the publishers do,
Well, PlayStation, you're right for that with Sony, because Sony's turned it over to the Anaheim or Pasadena, wherever it is, and they're ultra woke. So that's the situation. It is true.
Yeah, they had some concept stuff down here that I thought was like, man, why didn't it look like that? I like that a lot better. I like some of these concepts for the PlayStation 5 a lot better than the sandwich they came out with.
You're talking about the form factor?
Yeah, I'm just not like, there was nothing about the PlayStation that made me go, oh my gosh, I need to have this. And it was kind of it was slightly better than the Xbox reveal, because the Xbox one literally didn't do anything they said they were going to do.
Yeah.
So,
well, but keep in mind, Zach, that all the stuff they showed you was their brave and bold selection. That's not everything that's going to come out.
I know, but they
there'll
said
be
there
plenty
was
of other
stuff.
stuff.
There wasn't and stuff, and And
Yeah.
PlayStation's already come out and like they did this, which was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, which was showing off the Unreal 5 engine running on the PlayStation 5 and the new technology. That made me super excited because I do a lot of 3D modeling on the side. So I was like, whoa. It was just
that new engine looks great. You're right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, that's my story. But it's kind of dumb and boring, like my name. So,
That's your story. You're sticking to it.
Yeah.
All right. Was it Chester? Chester, you had
I guess. Yeah, sure. I had something. Sure.
Tell me a story, Uncle Chester.
I shall. I have it ready. You can bring it up whenever you like.
No. Yes. Oh, and by the way, what was it? I wasn't pooping. I was peeing. I've been drinking these things, these little beer grenades all day, and I think it finally caught up to me. All right, here we go. I'm bringing it up.
All right. Well, Star Wars, sticking in with the same theme that we saw there with Young and Dumb. Star Wars editor teases new anthology series will be gay and in space. Sweet. Let's take a look.
I thought you made that up when we were talking off here. You go gay and in space. I was like, wait a minute. Are you trying to be funny? No, it's actually
I
real.
don't know. Exactly real. Star Wars editor and Del Rey creative director Elizabeth Schaefer recently revealed what the unofficial subtitle for the upcoming Star Wars anthology, From a Certain Point of View, The Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars recently announced a follow-up to their anthology series, From a Certain Point of View anthology series, which From a Certain Point of View, The Empire Strikes Back, to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. That's a really well-written paragraph, I must say.
This is how we're going to celebrate with gay in space.
That's right. 40th anniversary celebration.
Wait, let's back up. When they say gay in space, they just mean happy, right?
Probably. Let me read on, and you'll
happy
see.
In space.
Right. Now, here's the concept, and the concept itself is not bad. The anthology will feature 40 stories from 40 authors that will reimagine the classic sequel through the eyes of background characters, heroes, villains, droids, and creatures. That's a cool idea. I like that. But then they go down here and they talk about their working title for the thing. And as for what that reimagined might look, Del Rey editor Elizabeth Schaefer detailed that their unofficial subtitle is gay and in space. Perfect. Especially seeing as there's hardly
Elizabeth, I think Elizabeth is pulling my leg.
I don't think they are, because this is
think
part of their agenda.
This is just she's just trying to mess with us. Is this April 1st? What's going on here?
Yeah, well, it's June 12th. I apologize. But oh no, yeah, Zach has got something for us to look at. But the thing with this is.
What the heck?
Good job. Good job.
I was just gonna say they've already done like this sort of. This isn't a new idea. Yeah. They've done it, but it's way better. It's hilarious. They're taking side characters and they literally went through Star Wars, and they even gave explanations of to what, like, you know, when random things happened, you know, like when the stormtrooper that hit his head, you know. Right, it was like one of them, and then there was other things that happened after that. You know, they fill in a lot of blanks. They've already done this.
Well, Elizabeth obviously saw that, and then had a genius idea, and just went added the gay part to it. So that's the original aspect is gay and
yeah. Well, I mean, you know, because it's a good idea. It actually is a good idea. But of course, the problem with it is that we're seeing this agenda be put on top of us, especially as we all know Star Wars doesn't really carry much sexuality at all with it. I mean, you get a couple of kisses. One is done in spite and the other one is done in love. And that's it. It's not that kind of story. But they have to put their agenda on it. They can't stop themselves. And it's not just here with this. This is a, you know, supposed to be, you know, a 40th anniversary type of thing. But this isn't showing respect for the thing. And it's also Joe, what was that? that new novel series that they're going to turn into either a TV or a movie series, where they were that team was sitting down and they had their board up and they were like, no guns, no war, dinosaurs in space. What is that series of book that's coming out? Joe.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The name escapes me at the moment.
Yeah, but if you look at that, if you go back and you find that, because I can't remember offhand either, but you look at that board of the things they had written down that they wanted in and they didn't want in. Star
Wars Resistance.
No, that's not it. It's like the last or something like that. But whatever it is, on the board they had all these things, and everything that is Star Wars was put down as we're not doing that, and everything that was this type of thinking was up there. So this is the future of Star Wars, just so you know. It's a Rainbow Brigade, and that's what we're going to get from now on. So do keep those original trilogies close to your heart, and that's about all I guess we can say about it, because 40 authors, 40 stories, and the general theme is gay in space for the whole thing.
Right. And if you have a problem, Elizabeth, you have her name, send her a letter. Don't get too rude and just say, Star Wars should not be gay. But it can be in space. It can be in space.
Yeah.
You know what? Why don't we just make Star Wars about like wars in space again? Because it's a pretty straightforward title, don't you think?
Yeah,
it's
wars.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Star Wars is not one of those things that carries sexuality with it. I mean, if you're doing Conan, well, it's got sexuality to it because it's Conan. But Star Wars, it's not. It's a family thing, even though it is war in space. But it doesn't really deal with those themes.
Sorry, Chester, if you're talking about the one that had diversity listed first and then diversity listed again, that's Star Wars Resistance.
Is it Resistance?
Yeah, from 2018 to 2019.
No, I'm talking about something new that hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah, but what Joe's talking about hasn't come out yet either. That was just a few months ago, right, Joe?
Well, it says that it ran from 2018 to 2019.
Yeah, no, that was an animated show that was awful. No one watched it. Let me see if I can find it.
It's the one where they were interviewed, and then somebody noticed that behind them on the screen
on the whiteboard.
Yeah. So are we all talking about the same?
Oh, the High Republic. That's
the High Republic. Okay, the High Republic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, the Resistance did very similar themes, of course, and that was basically racing in space. Which is okay, whatever. It's just I brought it up. I didn't know that Zach was going to do his thing, but I brought it up because it's just isn't what it is. They keep trying to make things what they're not.
Right.
If you wanted to do some, LG whatever the hell letters we're up to now, a thing in space. And have war backdrop on it. Go right ahead and make your new awesome thing. And I hope you have enough. You do it well enough, and you have enough people who go and support you. I'm fine with that. But I think we're all sick and tired of all these IPs we grew up with and we love just being absolute shat upon. And it's everywhere. It's not just Star Wars. I mean, that's the biggest IP in history, aside from the Bible, I guess.
Right.
But they just can't stop every little thing, right? Every little thing. So,
every little thing that they do is not magic.
It ain't magic at all, brother.
Yeah, I think that it's so funny because Disney Star Wars, you would think that you would try to create a successful business model first and foremost, right? So you could at least go, okay, Marvel's starting to bring in agenda stuff to their cinematic universe, but they've already kind of built a successful platform. So, people like it, things like that. So let's take some chances now. Let's get some other voices in here. Let's try to tell some other stories, because at some point people are going to get bored with the ones that we have been telling. It makes some logical sense. But Disney Star Wars doesn't even have success yet. You know what I mean? Like they're throwing all this weird stuff up there, and they think in the back of their mind that this is going to be successful, but these ideas are never going to be successful. You know what I mean? Like all this agenda stuff. It's never. I'm going to say it right now. I'm 100% sure this stuff is never going to fly. They're going to have to indoctrinate they're going to have to indoctrinate a decade at least worth of young kids before they accept this stuff, right? I mean, it's going to have to be decades before everybody's like, ooh, Star Wars is cool, because they've been indoctrinated with all this stuff over 10, 20 years. Right. But within the next couple years, this stuff is never going to be successful. So they can keep trying to do this agenda stuff. They can virtue signal. They can score points with their buddies, but it's never going to be financially viable or successful. And the thing is, they have billions of dollars, they put in it. There's already a history that's already showing the direction, right? Like, this is not a good business model. This is not going to pay off. But they keep doubling down. And it's the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen, because it's so counterintuitive to what a normal business would do, right? They go, the people's spoken, let's give them product that they want. It's not a deep subject matter. It's Star Wars. It's star battles. It's wars in space. That's the concept, is that. Start telling stories about war in space. That's what people want. That's the concept.
And one of the mistakes that they're making, as in a response to what you said, is we are seeing some young people running around with Antifa, Black Lives Matter. We see it, right? But that young generation, that 14 to 22 age demographic, they're actually far more conservative than any of us here, right?
Yeah,
and that's because they've been putting this stuff down their throat for a decade, and they're being revolted by it, and so they've already failed that task, right?
Well, what's more cool than like the youth rails against whatever is being shoved down their throat? They're embrace the opposite. So it makes complete sense, Chester. If this generation follows every other generation that's ever existed, they're going to be going, you know what? This progressivism, this is kind of silly, man.
Oh, sure. If you're not a liberal before the age of 30, what's wrong with you? If you're still a liberal after 30, you're freaking insane, right?
Yeah.
That's the general rule, right? But the thing with it is, though, and I'm going to put this on record, and you guys can throw it back in my face, I'm sure. But I don't think Marvel is going to get as woke as many people are worried. I think there'll be some in there. I think the Eternals is probably going to be they're going to really see what they can get away with.
You're talking about
with
the
that
MCU?
in particular. Yes, the MCU.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be as woke as you think. I really don't. There's going to be some. I think it's going to be very much like Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel had plenty of third wave feminism in it, sure, but it wasn't that bad. Not really.
Right.
The problem with that movie, it was horribly written. It wasn't stitched together properly. It's just a bad movie.
And
right?
they hired the wrong lead. Like, she's just not.
Well,
when she does interviews, she is as boring gets. Like, she has nothing interesting to say. She's not charismatic. She's not even particularly pretty. So I don't even know her attributes. She doesn't have a whole lot.
Well, she's nasty, and she hates men. And that's her attribute. That's why she got hired.
When Chris Hemsworth sits right next to her in the interviews, and you're going, Chris Hemsworth is an attractive man, and you don't even look at her, then there's something wrong, right? You and you're just staring at Hemsworth, just going, wow, look at that.
Think about this too. Don Cheadle is 100% woke, right? That guy is off the deep end woke, and he can't stand her. Dude.
Great point.
Right? He cannot stand her.
Yeah.
So, but my point being is, it wasn't as hardcore, SJW or progressive as it could have been. Especially certainly not as much as Star Wars was. I mean, Star Wars, my God, it was with the Return of the Jedi, particularly, it was in your face every second. Boom, stupid man. Boom, stupid man. I mean, it even offended my wife, dude. That's how abhorrent it was.
Was it not? You said Return of the Jedi. Did you mean Episode 9?
Oh, the Last Jedi. That roundhead
Oh, The Last Jedi.
Asshole guy. That guy.
Got it.
The asshole guy.
Ryan Johnson.
Oh, that jackass. Yeah. Such a sycophant, suck up. Just
What?
kidding me, right?
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. And this is how I feel. Okay, like even with the comic books, like the Marvel books or any of this stuff, if you want to create a book that has either that political slant on it or that sexual slant on it or whatever it is, fine. I don't care. Like if they do it with the Eternals or whatever it is, that's fine. If it's too woke for me or it's too preachy for me and heavy-handed, I just won't go see it. Just like I did with Captain Marvel. Like the early press was out there, and I was like, "This is not the movie for me." I heard that it doesn't really have a lot to, it doesn't really. You don't have to watch that movie to go into Endgame. All that stuff. So I was just like, well, I'm going to opt out, and I still haven't seen it. Nobody in my family went, let's go see it. Nobody. So if the Eternals is like that, then it can be standalone. Let it exist. If the people that this movie's made for love it, they can support it, and then they can keep making movies like that. That's fine. Just don't make Thor woke. You know what I mean? Don't.
Oh, that's too late.
Don't make Captain America. Don't do that with the movie.
It's too late, dude. They already did it. Thor's done. Yeah, unfortunately. But no, I get what you want. I just don't think they're going to go as far because a lot of people are worried. I just don't think it's going to be as bad as you think it is.
Well,
and let's be fair. What was the most woke thing that they have done, other than what they did to Thor in Endgame, is Black Panther, and that was the most woke thing.
I think, Chester, that you're definitely right about the Eternals being woke. What I'll be very interested to see is how well does the public receive and respond to that movie, and then how many of the films in development are rewritten or additional pickup scenes are filmed that were not in the shooting script and all of that sort of thing. Because I think that's when we'll start to get an idea. Because you're right. I mean, in film more so than in the comic book industry, the bottom line is everything because of the big two being carried by parent companies. And Art has said many, many times on Pontificator shows that for as long as he had been around at DC Comics was always a loss leader for Warner Brothers, and Marvel, when they were on their own, they went bankrupt and they had to get sold to a parent company a couple of times, and now obviously they've been with DC for a while. But I'm sorry, Disney. So I think that now that they've got parent companies pulling their strings, they're not going to tolerate the sort of loss. For example, the DC films. Man of Steel underperformed according to expectations. Batman versus Superman way underperformed according to expectations, and then Justice League was a straight out flop and cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. And we saw that the DC EU got retooled immediately upon the box office receipts from Justice League. So I'll be very curious to see how the Eternals does.
Well, let me just say to this point, I'm not saying that the Eternals won't be successful, and I think it's great. What I'm trying to say is that make them like no one knows who these characters are. So if you want to do this with these characters, then go do it. And I hope it is successful. I hope that they can make entertainment for certain people, and then they can go support it and they can enjoy it and they can get behind it. That's fine. I just don't like when they turn other characters, when they make them woke or when they have, like they screw up things that I really, really like. To be honest, Eternals are like, so what? I don't care. I do whatever you want with them. I was pleasantly surprised when Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one was as good as it was because I had no expectations. And I'm not saying that if the Eternals is done well, that I won't enjoy it, even though it might be very woke. So I'm not like that, I just don't really like when they turn something you really love into something that, that is woke or that isn't quite what it could be. And then even like to speak on that, it's like Thor. We brought up Thor from, where he's like all overweight and he's depressed, so he's kind of drinking himself and eating himself into death. We can all nobody likes that, but there is something, and I learned this from Frank Miller in Daredevil, is they can reconstruct a hero. Like you deconstruct and then you reconstruct. So what they're doing and what they can do, and what I do think they're going to do, is they're going to bring this character, down to rock bottom, and then they're going to reevaluate Thor. And also, there's one thing that Thor hasn't done in these movies yet. He hasn't taken the mantle from his father yet. You know what I mean? He hasn't become king. So he
gave it away.
Right. But cinematically speaking, or from story speaking, they can keep tearing him down, and then they can deconstruct, and then they can rebuild him in a stronger way, in a way that he will be worthy to be king of Asgard. So I'm just saying that is a potential storyline. You have to go through hell to get to heaven, kind of thing. And so we'll have to endure a fat suit with Chris Hemsworth and some other crap. But I think, like you said, Chester, I'm just kind of illustrating your point that they probably won't this is a $1 billion franchise. I don't know how you gamble, like Star Wars didn't have leadership, or the leadership they had was very bad, and they didn't really have an overview of what they wanted. But Marvel still has Kevin Feige, and they have a track record, and they have billions of dollars riding on it. So I do agree, Chester. I don't think Marvel is going to make as many of these mistakes, as that maybe people thought earlier on. You know what I mean? Because I think they were so invested, they were a little nervous. They were scared that it was going to happen.
Well, Kevin Feige is a known quantity. Kathleen Kennedy is a known quantity. We have to take that into account. How would we assume that Kevin Feige is going to do like a complete 180? There's no reason to assume that. Now, we do know that he wants to support female creators and female actresses. Fine. We also know that he has a certain amount of feminism in him. He would like to display more. Fine. I just don't think it's going to be as outrageous as people are worried. I just don't think so. Because Kevin has proven himself. He deserves the benefit of the doubt, is my point.
And I'll be interested to see how the Disney Plus rollouts continue to go, because you've got series like The Mandalorian, which was a huge hit for Disney. And then you've got these Marvel series coming up where you have, let's say, The Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and the Miss Marvel. Yeah, and then you have the Miss Marvel series that they announced. And when you look at the Miss Marvel performance in the comic world, the first series, or limited series, I should say, apparently did fairly well. But
I liked it.
Yeah, and then when it was quote unquote reimagined with G. Willow Wilson, it was a totally different story, and they had to cancel and reboot and cancel and reboot. They brought in Saladin Ahmed, cancel, reboot. So it'll be interesting to see with that Miss Marvel series if they go with the original incarnation of the character or with the more recent version, and then to see the performance of the series.
Yeah, in the original, we'll talk about Miss Marvel, which was really good. People were very excited about it. New character. It was very interesting. She was an American fangirl. She was a fangirl of Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, right? Which is why she took on the motif. And she's of Arabic or Pakistani or some kind of Middle Eastern background. Fair enough. That wasn't the main thing. She was an American girl. Right. And then when these other people came and changed it, it became all about her Muslimness and about her standing up to the round eye, and all that kind of nonsense, and her becoming involved in criminal activity with Captain Marvel. What? It was insane. Because if they take that original run, that could be a big hit.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Does anybody else have anything? No. Okay, I have some fun stuff. This is kind of a little bit of an aside, And James Wood posted this on his Twitter, and I know that James Woods is a little controversial of a character, awesome. But I thought he's always funny, like he's always entertaining. So I found this, and I'm going to share this with you guys because oh my gosh, I'm just going to play it, and then we can talk about it because it's actually pretty bizarre. I think this is it. So let me see if I can share this bigger.
I take responsibility.
Oh, Lordy.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility. I'll take responsibility for every unchecked moment, for every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
Every not so funny joke. Every unfair stereotype.
Every blatant injustice, no matter how big or small.
Every time I remain silent.
That guy's got a massive eye booger, by the way.
Brutality.
She's got a big nose.
A blind eye. I take responsibility. Black people are being slaughtered in the streets, killed in their own homes. These are our brothers, sisters, our friends.
Yeah, I don't think that's a fact.
Nope.
We are done watching them die.
She might be reading that.
We are no longer bystanders. We will not be idle. Enough is enough.
I will no longer allow an unchecked moment.
He's even got his eyeglasses on so he can read.
Racist, hurtful words, jokes, stereotypes, no matter how big or small, to be uttered in my presence.
I will not turn a blind eye. Going for a job should not be a death
sentence. Nazi glasses.
Sleeping in your own home should not be a death sentence.
Playing video games with your nephew should not be a death sentence.
Oh my
Shopping in a
God.
store should not be a death sentence.
Are they talking like swatting? People getting swatted? What are they talking about?
I don't think they know, Zach.
I stand against hate.
They're just following the script.
I stand against hate. I will stand against hate in love.
I stand against Zach.
My presence now.
Oh!
Killer cops must be prosecuted.
Oh my!
Murder.
They are being
I don't even know.
prosecuted.
They've all been prosecuted. I don't know who more than half of these people are.
There's a parody one I posted right below below yours, Art. It's wonderful.
No. Where's the James
Oh
Wood?
yeah, I'm gonna play that too. Yeah.
Oh no, there's one by Albino Thunderbuns, and then below someone took all the vases and then put their mouth in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
James usually doesn't say those kind of things though. What was his comment on top of that though?
James was something like, "How sincere are these guys when they're reading from a teleprompter?" Or something like that.
Yeah, he said, watch their eyes. You can see they're reading the teleprompter.
Yeah, so it's kind of snarky and funny. But holy crap, man, can you believe this pretentious piece of shit? I'm sorry, man. I'm just calling it out. That is the most overstated, knee-jerky response in such a melodramatic. They're being slaughtered in the streets. I'll tell you right now, they're not being slaughtered in the streets. And also these people are saying, no peace, no justice. There is fucking justice. Those guys have been booked, the cops, the three that watched, the guy that choked the other guy out, those guys are in jail. There will be a trial. This is justice. What you're asking for is not justice. I don't know what the hell you guys are asking for, but it's not justice because justice is being served right now. You might not like it. You might want more, to go down, and you might want those guys to pay a higher price. But I'll tell you right now, I don't think there's any way they're going to get out of this without a major sentence. And I don't think they're ever going to have a normal life again. This will destroy those four men's lives. And I'm not saying, that what they did was right, because what they did was clearly wrong, and they will pay the price. That's the judicial system. They will be tried by their peers. They will have due process. Like, all these things will happen, and that's the system. You know what I mean? All this other stuff is insane. Cops, wrongfully kill white people, Asian people.
They kill a lot more white people. They if you look at the statistics, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to get it. You go ahead and do the funny one to get our spirits up. Now I get the facts.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we have two different ideas of what the funny one is, but I'm going to play this one because this one kind of goes hand in hand with it.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'm Gregory Jackson, and I'm not a superman. But these people are. And during this time of crisis, they have provided the strength that we've all needed to get through. So it's time for us normal people to say thank you.
I see a number of deaths every day, and the constant threat of being infected and taking that home to my family is terrifying. But the one thing that gives me strength to get to my job every day is watching Ellen broadcast from her mansion.
This is like being in jail, is what it is.
I've been waiting on hold for something for days now. I've lost my job, I've got no money, I've lost everything. I've got this video of Amanda Killer dancing around in a massive kitchen. It's really getting me through.
I have been working for 48 hours straight and my face hurts from wearing a mask for so long. I was going to go little Persian to end it all, but my need for MasterChef reminded me why I'm here.
I just had to break up a fight in aisle 3, and every day people call me a f***ing but having Sam Armitage reassure me from her sprawling rural property really makes it all worthwhile.
We're all in this together. My landlord refused to, give me a decrease in rent, so I went out the street. But this bloke on the beach, man, he makes me feel better. I don't know who he is, but if I knew him, I would love him.
The guy's got cool hair.
Mm-hmm.
But look, it's Al from Home and Away.
We really are all in this together. Thanks, celebrities.
Thank you, celebrities.
Thanks, celebrities.
Thanks, celebrities.
Get back to work.
She's the best.
One bottom of our pathetic little nobody, unfamous, worthless dog shit broadcast hearts. Thank you. You are the truth.
Yeah. Get him, Australia. Yeah, that's funny. Well, I am going to be doing probably a series, I think, on my TFT show where I will be talking about the Bolshevik Revolution. And I'm going to lay out from then to now exactly who's behind what and what's going on. And it's going to be very detailed, maybe more detailed than anything I've done so far, because that's what's really going on. It has nothing to do with George Floyd.
Might I suggest adding in the Frankfurt School?
Oh, I will, dude. The Overton window. I'm also going to bring in the Spanish Civil War and all the a lot of things. I'll probably get in trouble. I'm probably going to get myself in trouble, but I don't care because no one seems to be able to say anything about it, and because that's what's really going on. This is a communist thing. This has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter at all.
Well, I forget. My wife, she showed me like a way to socialism, like a list, just an abbreviated list on how to create socialism, and everything that's happening right now is almost like it's just a checklist, right? Mm-hmm. You go, okay, get rid of religion, attack this, attack nationalism, all these things. It's just a checklist on and on. And then this guy's teachings, you find out that Hillary Clinton and Obama were students of this guy. I forget the guy's name.
Oh, sure.
Saul Alinsky.
That's it.
Saul Alinsky, yeah, that's right. And also with Hillary Clinton, and one of her favorite heroes in life was Margaret Sanger, the creator of Planned Parenthood. And a very simple little point you can make about this person who Hillary Clinton and many other Democrats praise as they protect their little Planned Parenthood. No matter what you think about that conversation, just understand this. The entire history of the KKK, they killed over 3,200 people. Every 2 weeks, Planned Parenthood kills that many black people in America.
Through abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just saying. These are the people you're supporting. These are the people you're voting for. So, maybe you could wake up, but we know they won't, because we've seen statistics going on right now that the people who are supporting Trump are fervent supporters of Trump. They are his supporters. Whether you like him or not doesn't matter. This high percentage of people. But you look at the other people who are supporting, say, Biden. They don't care about Biden whatsoever. Their statement is we don't care who it is. We're just standing against Trump. So it's all about Trump, right?
Yeah.
All these reactions and everything is about Trump because they're losing the war. They tried to get him with their nonsense in the Congress. It failed. They've tried to get him on so many things and they just fail. And then they know they're going to lose. So they've been launching all of these attacks to try to desperately get anything they want. And basically what's come out is their communist slip is showing.
Yeah.
Of course.
So Zach, what do you have here?
Okay, so this is number of people shot to death by police in the United States from 2007 to 2020. And so you have your races and then the number of people per year that get shot by police. And if you look at the number of white people in 2017, it doubles the amount of black people that were shot. And you can see the difference between the amount of white people that get shot compared to black people. And so it's just, when these people have this outcry and their big argument is, well, there's a lot less black people in the US than there are white people. And I'm like, well, why? That doesn't make any sense. Then why is 60% of crimes committed by such a small minority? Yeah. So it's just like why it you know what I mean? It's just like their argument falls apart when they say things like that. And yeah, what Chester brought up was like, when they're saying like, black people being slaughtered, you could say actually, yeah, that's true because of Planned Parenthood.
That's right. And there's a better statistic that you can use, Zach. Now, of course, the thing is, I don't want anyone to die. No. And obviously, the militarization of the police is a problem. I think we can all agree on that. Yeah. There are improvements, but if you look at the statistics, it's actually a very small percentage of problems. But we could still improve it, right? Yeah. But here's the statistic you use, Zach. You don't need to give these percentages because that allows that argument. Here's what you say: for every 10,000 black arrests, 3 black men are shot dead. For every 10,000 white men arrests, 4 men are shot dead, or 4 people are shot dead. So this shows a 1-to-1 ratio, showing that it doesn't matter if there's more white or less black. It doesn't matter. The white people are getting shot too, and technically slightly more, but 30% more. But beyond that point, I don't know. This argument is fair and it makes sense, but it also it doesn't really help the argument. Because the argument should have been about police brutality. And what happened in this situation, these people made a mistake. You see, they skipped a step because they never bothered to show or even state that this bully cop was a racist.
Exactly. I say that all the time. That's the one thing that hasn't even. It's like there was a jump of logic, so we can go. Because the thing is, too, this isn't even a right or left matter. They're trying to turn it into that because the right and left both agree this was horrible. Mm-hmm. Nobody is supporting this. No one's saying, like, what they did was right. I have not heard one person say that.
Those two people worked together, George Floyd and that guy?
Yeah. They were bouncers, right, at a club.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, they do have a past. And all that stuff will come out in court. So if he is racist, that stuff will come out in court, but it hasn't come out yet. So it's a major assumption that it's a white cop, a black, perp. The unthinkable happened. The horrible. It was horrible. I'm not supporting that, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was racially motivated. It doesn't mean that cop hated black men and wanted to kill them all. It doesn't mean that at all. It's an assumption. It's a major jump of logic. And now we have looting and we have like really insane things happening because of an assumption, a major jump of logic, if you will.
I just think people were anxious to get out of the house and they were like, riot!
Mainly.
Did you see how Biden compared him to Martin Luther King?
Oh, he's an idiot.
Yeah, that's because
we're talking about a guy who did 8.5 years in prison on 5 stints, and he compared him to Martin Luther King.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was a criminal. That's true. Mm-hmm. So maybe you shouldn't honor him in that way, I guess. But that doesn't matter. He should not have died. I mean, I understand that argument. I get that point. So I'm fine with that.
But they're propping him up.
Yeah, but that's not even a debate because everybody agrees. Like there is no controversy.
Yeah,
everybody is in complete lockstep agreement that what that one cop did was absolutely horrible, but there were 3 cops that could have stopped it and did nothing. You know, while this guy was pleading for his life. And there's nobody that's saying, yeah, well, what about the cop? They're not arguing for that guy or those other 3.
Yeah. No, the funny thing, since you mentioned Martin Luther King there, Todd, there's no comparison, and these protests have no comparison to Martin Luther King either. But here's a very interesting thing: there has been at least 2 professors that have been sacked from their job because they dared to stand up in class and read a Martin Luther King speech to try to bring some peace to the situation, right? They fired him for daring to speak about peace. No, we're going to burn it down. And how dare you say that? We're kicking you out of our university. And there brings us to the real problem. The universities have been absolutely polluted.
They're undermining people and their belief system. Yeah,
they are. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the which you told me to add in my my thing, because that plays right into it, dude. Joe.
Oh, the Frankfurt School?
Yeah.
Well, just a real brief summary is that in the 19th century, the Frankfurt School was this institution in Germany that was supposedly an institution of higher learning. And back then, if you were an American and you wanted to get a PhD, you couldn't get one in the United States. You had to go over to Europe. There were not any institutions established in the United States at that point in time that had the scholars who could provide the level of education necessary for PhD. The United States was too young of a country. So if you were a scholar, you went over to Europe, and often you went to Paris or Germany. A lot of scholars did choose Germany, and they ended up attending the Frankfurt School, where they were not only given lessons in scholarly pursuits, but they were also given indoctrination into leftism. And then if you study the scholars who from America attended the Frankfurt School and then came back to the US, there are some of them that essentially ignored the leftist indoctrination that they received in Germany, and they passed along the scholarship that they learned to others in the US. But unfortunately, there was a fair number of these intellectuals who brought back the scholarly knowledge that they had attained, but then also the political left-wing indoctrination, and they passed that along. And so you would have institutions like Harvard or Yale that had a very conservative and in many cases religious component, a Judeo-Christian value system that was part of their founding and would be taught. Many of these universities had seminaries where if you wanted to become a minister, you could study and get your scholarly learning there, and then also get your religious instructions, for example. Yeah. But some of these scholars that came back from the Frankfurt School to the U.S. then started teaching the leftist socio-political ideas that they had learned from the Frankfurt School. And you can actually track the seeds of that leftism from those scholars that came back from Germany, and you can track the growth of leftist ideology in the U.S. from that time, where they returned from the Frankfurt School, introduced those ideas into the U.S., and then over time, those scholars essentially multiplied themselves within the ranks of academia. And then in the early 20th century, you can track it from academia into various professions such as journalism, entertainment, so on and so forth.
Interesting. Yeah. And we're reaping the rewards of it now. You know, it's over decades of indoctrination. I never understand it just from one simple point of view. It's like, why wouldn't you be proud of your country? Why wouldn't you be proud of your founding fathers? Why wouldn't you be proud of to be an American? Like, I don't understand that at all. And the other thing is that they're always going around like there's something broken. There's always something that's wrong. Enjoy what you have.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Pretty sweet, man. I mean, in this day and age, look at this is freaking Jetson. We're talking to each other in real time. Like I say this all the time. This is crazy, man. Could you imagine as a kid if you had this technology? You'd be flipping out, man. I get to hang out with my friends. I get to talk one-on-one.
Yeah,
you know. Cool. This is cool shit. This is like a clubhouse. Remember when you guys had a clubhouse when you were a kid? You know, you get to hang out. This is like our clubhouse, man. We get to hang out.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I would prefer Hall of Justice art.
All of it.
But Ghost of Henry says Chester would rip his ear instead and let him go. Well, to take that comment and be a little serious about it, I was a bouncer for a very long time, and I've had to subdue many a human in my life. And this whole thing with the weight of one knee in the middle of the back and for a pivot point on the neck, this is coming out of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it's not. It is a submission move, but it's also an intimidation move. It's about inflicting pain on your opponent to tire them, wear them down over time. That's what it is, and it's completely unnecessary, especially where a cop should much more be closer to a bouncer in how they deal with people than a freaking wrestler.
He was
or a fighter.
Already was in cuffs, like he was.
Yeah, he was, and it's stupid because I will take a thumb lock any day.
Oh man,
putting my knee on someone's throat, because I'll put him down and I have complete control of them. They ain't doing nothing. I can even teach a woman how to do that.
Yeah.
So it's nonsense. It's intimidation and it's pain inflicting. There's no need for it. There's no need for it.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think this excuses the fact of the three watching, because to be honest, I think if I was in the crowd, I know people were yelling, but I think knowing my personality, I would probably walk over there and just say, "Enough's enough, man."
Right. Well, because the black cop did say maybe you should let him up.
Yeah, but I mean, push the guy out of the way and just go, "Come on, man."
Yeah.
Yeah, enough's enough. But anyway, like, we can't armchair. It's all going to come out in court. You know, all the story is going to come out, and we can't start crucifying these people before, one, the facts aren't all there, and that there hasn't even been a trial yet. Yeah. So I think everybody needs to cool their jets. I do understand the Rodney King, because there was a trial and it was a bad verdict, man. And I know that they're a little gun shy, and that's why they're possibly justification for doing what they're doing right now. But it's still not a justification. Ends don't justify the means. Just because you were once bit, that doesn't mean that you can do this. So I do think that we need to chill. And if there was truly racism, it will come out in the trial. And then fine, I'll be behind you. But at this point, I think it's a complete over exaggeration. I think that video that I played shows you how some of Hollywood feels. I know there's a lot of money being filtered into a lot of black causes right now from Hollywood, and I think there's been other people that have pulled out the details. Like, yeah, they're laying off a bunch of their employees during this pandemic, but yet they have this money to give to these charities and to give to these black causes. And I just think that's. I don't know, man. It just feels like virtue signaling. It feels disingenuous to me. How do you guys feel about that?
Oh, completely. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like the black business owners who have had their livelihoods destroyed by the riots would much rather have their businesses and their livelihoods back instead of having riots in their front yards, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I see victim after victim of these riots, and I just think that it's whatever gains that the rioters think that they're getting. Is it worth, the cost? Because to me, I would say no.
They don't care, though. They don't care. The rioters do not care. They don't
No.
care. They are there's so much footage and of people being interviewed by like smaller media and whatnot of these people that are like, why are you here? Why are you out here? And they don't even know. They don't even know. They're just like, yeah, no, I got out of the house and I don't even know. It's like, why did you go and break into that Target and steal stuff? Oh, well, everybody else was doing it, so I kind of, and I wanted that free TV. They don't care. They don't give any fucks right now. There's zero fucks given.
Well, I heard a scholar talk. I heard a scholar talk, and he was and he's an African American gentleman, and he studied civil rights and throughout history, and he pretty much was saying that they like to quote what's his name? Oh my gosh,
Thomas Sowell.
No, Martin Luther King. I'm sorry, and so. This guy was pointing out that the fact is that when Martin Luther King marched, it came out of their religion. It was churches, things like that. And the whole movement came out of like a religious, spiritual angle. And so he wasn't like, let's riot, let's like if this happened under Martin Luther King's watch, he would have nixed this stuff. He would have spoke out against it because that's not what he was about. And so this current Black Lives Matter or whatever, this scholar was comparing it more to the more radical stuff of like the early, like the 60s and earlier, like the Black Panther movement or what's the other guy that's
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. Thank you. Yeah, it's more kind of militant. And then he said the real problem is Martin Luther King realized for real change, substantial change, you have to win people's hearts. You have to inspire them. It cost him his life. You have to inspire these people to be better. You know what I mean? But you don't inspire the way they're doing it now. This is not inspiration. This is what is angering people and dividing people. And I've said it from the beginning, that's what they want. I don't think they want peace. I think they want division. I think they want power and they want division because that's the only result that's coming out of this. You know what I mean? We're not getting closer as a civilization. They're not winning over hearts. They're forcing people to draw lines in the sand. And that's exactly what they're doing. And I'm just going to go one step and then I'm just going to get off this because I know I'm crucifying myself here. But when they say Black Lives Matter and then they get mad at you or whoever says it's like all lives matter. And then they say, you just don't get it. You're being racist. You're being this, that, the other thing. I'll tell you right now, that whole hashtag was designed to be divisive. That hashtag was designed to piss people off. Because if it was truly about a certain cause, I don't think they would have structured it that way. And it's not about just like Black Lives Matter. It's more about being militant and going against like the powers that be, or specifically the PD. That's their agenda. And I just once again, I think a lot of this current day stuff is designed to be a little bit more divisive than people are willing to admit.
I've thought about this a lot, and I think that a whole lot of trouble could have been avoided if there would have been emphasis placed on one word. And that is, if the slogan had been Black Lives and then in italics or capitals or bold, matter. Because
sure,
the people who had good intentions were trying to say Black Lives Matter. And a lot of people received the message as the emphasis being on black. So as if they were saying Black Lives Matter. And so I think where there are good intentioned people, there's a lot of misunderstanding in terms of where the emphasis should be, in the messaging. But, it went from initially a misunderstanding between some good intentioned people to this anarcho-communist political, very well-funded, well-organized attempt to take down the established law and order and try to substitute it with something that they can only dream of when they talk about their, communist utopia.
Well, the thing is, too, like the universe doesn't care. I think Ghost of Henry, like he got me thinking, like the universe just doesn't care. The universe is indifferent to everybody. You know what I mean? Like so.
The universe cares about Florida Man.
It does.
Florida Man. So no, it's not personal. It's just indifference. Like indifference isn't not caring. Indifference is indifference. So I don't hate. Or I don't, like the universe doesn't hate. It's not personal. So, like, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the stuff that they're thinking is personal or that's being used against them is more just the universe being indifferent. It's not necessarily like that people hate them or people hate what they're about or whatever. It's more like that people are just more indifferent. Like I take care of myself, my family, my little world.
Sure.
I'm not indifferent to that, but I might be a little bit more indifferent to my, my neighbor or whatever. And it depends. Like we all have that kind of like you have your immediate family, then you have your family, and you have your friends, and it goes out, and that's how you kind of care about things. So most of the world, to me, I'm just indifferent to. It's not that I hate them. I don't. You know what I mean? It's not personal. It's just I'm just indifferent to it.
Well, I mean, the universe is trying to mutilate you on a daily basis. Right? I mean, but here's a question I would ask, that because this conversation is only one-sided. That's the problem. No one wants an honest conversation anyway, right? But my question would be very, very simple. Why is it that when you're walking down the street, and I mean everybody, excluding the hood rats, right? I mean, Black Americans, Asian Americans, Jewish Americans, white Americans, all of us. Why is it when you're walking down the street and you see a hood rat or two walking behind you, you cross the street? Why? Black people do it too. They always make it like it's a white people only do that, but everybody does it. So why is that? There's a reason. Because there's a whole nother conversation going on that should be going on that will never go on. Right? Because there's a problem in the country, and it's not just anarcho-communist, which in and of itself is a bizarre comment, like Antifa or these white-run and highly funded Black Lives Matters, and other. There's more than one group of problems, but we won't talk about the problem. It's always white people's responsibility, even though we all agree. The reason we cross that street is because we know that 50 to 60% of any demographic of crime in this country is coming from that hood rat behind you. Right?
I bet Florida Man doesn't walk.
Thank you for okay, we're done. You're right. You're right, Zach. You're right, Zach.
This is depressing, and to be honest, this is everything I've been trying to avoid for the past week. So I'm like, I would rather talk about Florida Man.
Hey, you want to hear some good news, Zach?
Yeah, I do.
Sure.
All right, let me go to it so I can read it. The Alpha Car series is proud to announce that.
Hey man, did you want to see the video? What are you guys doing? I'm screen sharing right now.
I want to see Florida Man examples. Is what I want to see.
Okay, so Todd, hold on. I'm going to come back. I was in the middle of something. I was trying to use Zach's cue, and then we got derailed there. Okay, so are we back?
Yeah.
Okay, share. Let's do this.
Oh, you want me to do my thing?
Yeah.
All right, the Alpha Cars series is proud to announce that July 12th event at Daytona Speedway will be sponsored by the Florida Man graphic novel. Be sure to grab yourself a copy and keep those eyes peeled for more information coming in weeks.
Cool.
Wow.
All right. Okay. Can I show the video now?
Yeah.
Well,
They
thanks.
They named it the Florida Man 250.
Maybe you should have started with
Florida Man 250.
250. Okay, I'm on my 250. All right, so here we go. We're gonna share your graphic novel Indiegogo campaign, and then I should try to refresh at some point. Okay, so let's go back to the video. Here we go.
Hey man, y'all got beer still? You've seen the stories. Now, writer Mike Barron and artist Todd Mulrooney are bringing the quintessential Florida man, Gary Duba, to life. Gary's just a regular guy living in a trailer with his girlfriend Crystal, but he's got dreams, big dreams. He just invented house suspenders that will secure any home to the ground in rough weather. And now he's going to show them off on Piranha Pool, the TV show where venture capitalists and entrepreneurs pony up if they like your pitch. But when his gal Crystal gains notoriety as an infamous amateur wrestler, she quickly advances to the pro circuit where her greatest challenge is an angry Australian grappler. Follow Gary and Crystal on their extraordinary journey from rags to riches, to rags to riches, to rags to riches, all while dealing with shady lawyers, toilet snakes, wild gators, cheating hearts, feral hogs, and problem shoppers. Back Florida Man today and reserve your very own copy of the Florida Man graphic novel. We're bringing back funny books, y'all.
All right.
Screw you, Cornelius. Screw you. I'm so hungry. You did that. My stomach literally went. Ugh.
All right, Todd.
Brownies.
The spotlight's on you now. So, Florida Man graphic novel.
Well, you know what? I've been getting tweets and different. Dude, I can't. The support is awesome. I mean, the people that have been tweeting it, sharing it. I really hope that it hits its goal fast because I want to get started on some things. I've been doing, I had to do a lot of stuff for that promo. There's about 6-7 different things that are just for that and really can't be used anywhere else. So, this video came out great. I mean, a lot of people said this is the best promo video they've seen for any comic.
I agree. It's really, really well done. I don't know who they got to do the voice over, but it's the perfect voice.
Yeah.
Is that Chris's voice?
It's Uncle Jesse.
No. You know what? If you have I don't know if anyone spotted it. I spotted it just a minute ago, but Cecil is on the campaign page.
Yeah, I missed it.
Where is this?
If you go down to the superhero picture of the 3 guys dressed as superheroes.
One of them, Cecil? Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
No. He's in there. He's just in between them.
Oh, the dip?
Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's looking out from behind him.
So, I did 2 versions of this. There's a version without him there and a version with him there. I don't even know why Chris did this. I just thought it'd be funny when I did this that Cecil just be in there.
So Cecil slid his dick in there.
Probably. Yeah.
Sorry.
I respect a man who's in touch with his penis.
So there's by the way, there's a lot of people are going to be. There's the wrestling match, right? The big match, and a lot of you guys are going to be around the ring. So
that's the drawing tier, right? Where you're going to draw.
No. This is just me putting people.
Oh, like me and
crowd
and Joe and Zach.
People in the crowd.
Well, just remember to give me big biceps.
I was thinking about giving you a ponytail, but
oh, you better not.
I think you should actually.
Okay, well let's flip this. Let's hit the reload page and see where we're at. 750, 19 backers. Ooh,
Hey,
22
gone up a little bit.
backers. So what is that? You got 4 backers. You're at 923.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's very cool, man. So you're closing in on $1,000, and you just launched earlier today. So this is looking good, my friend.
Thank you. There's a lot of surprises left in this sort of book. You know what I mean? I haven't given a lot of the stuff away. When we decided that, hey, we're gonna do this and it's gonna be this length, and Mike had to, because I already started drawing the first 22 pages, so you couldn't change anything there. You know, anything. I mean, we've been changing a little bit here and there, but he couldn't really rewrite. So when he gave me the second half of this, I was really impressed, because I really was like pushing him, like, the situations are funny, but there has to be some humor here. You have to have some juxtaposition to some of these events. And really, there's some really great stuff. I mean, I read it the other day, the whole thing together, and in like one read, and man, it's going to be awesome. I have a lot of things that I can pull off here, so. You know.
Well, I hope so, because this is day one, man. You got a long 30 days ahead of you. So, you know what? Get a lot of sleep, stay hydrated, eat well, because it's going to be an epic journey, my friend. You got to get on a bunch of shows. And by the way, don't listen to Ghost of Henry, because he's full of shit.
No, listen to Ghost of Henry. He's an amazing artist. He's a wonderful human being. He is always right. Yes.
Yeah, but he wants a mullet. He wants
Floyd is the guy with the mullet.
No, I think he wants to draw. He wants you to draw me with a mullet.
That's perfect.
Give him a mullet. Perfect. Okay.
I think you'd like give Art a mullet. Yeah, this is
right.
Art. Yeah.
That's right.
So you guys want to leave with some jokes? Do we have some Florida Man news clips? Do we? Because
I want to see some of that, please.
Albino was throwing them in the chat already, which is already. It's hilarious. Yeah. So the origin of this basically came from Florida Man headlines. So that's pretty much what inspired Mike Barron, right? Initially, is that right, Todd?
Say again. I'm sorry.
Holy shit!
I was reading one of those jokes. Sorry.
What inspired Mike Barron initially was the Florida Man headlines, right?
Right. The memes and the tropes of it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He decided to sort of take from those really outrageous headlines and craft a story that, imagine if this was just all one guy. I mean, obviously there's millions of these stories. We used to have a newspaper that came out of Northampton. If you know Massachusetts, Northampton is sort of its Greenwich Village, right? And there was this newspaper that came out of that would always tell you where all the bands were playing and stuff. And they did this section was called The News of the Weird. And then there was a section next to it, The News from Florida. So the News of the Weird was just as zany as just the news just from Florida. And I used to read that paper just for that section.
Let's see a page of these Florida Man things.
Okay, so we have Albino here. He's been posting these in the chat and cracking me up. Okay, Florida Man breaks into home, and they all start with this, by the way. Florida Man does whatever. So Florida Man breaks into home, cooks breakfast, tells owner to go back to sleep.
That's a true one.
Let me see if I can get that page up.
Okay.
I got one where it's Florida Man steals private plane and on radar does a giant penis. So he flies.
Okay, so we got this one while we're waiting. Thong wearing Florida Man Florida man found in man's backyard building a shed and throwing chairs. Thong.
Why?
Wait. Was it Donald DeLay? It sounds like something Donald would do.
Let's see here. Okay, I'm sharing the one about the guy who cooks breakfast and tells the owner to go back to sleep.
That's the guy right there.
That's him.
It looks like he somebody bloodied his nose or something. Did he get popped in the face?
Well,
Like some
let's
blood stains
see.
under his nose there.
19-year-old Gavin Krim broke into the home around 4 a.m. on Tuesday. This was last year. According to deputies, he entered the home via an unlocked back door. Once inside, he began cooking and eating the owner's food. When the owner confronted the Florida man, he was told to, quote, go back to sleep. Krim was later found in a wooded area behind the home. He was arrested on a burglary charge. According to the arrest report, he was intoxicated.
You think?
Goodness gracious.
He had the munchies, yeah.
Look at all these crazy things on the side, dude. I mean, goodness gracious.
Oh, wait, click on that one, yeah. Oh, my gosh, what the hell is this?
I would think there's...
Infamous Florida man with half a head arrested for attempted murder.
I would think there's some cognitive dysfunction there, Joe.
Yeah.
I think you're correct. Miami man, famous for missing half of his head, is facing arson and attempted murder charges for allegedly setting his mattress on fire.
I think I've had this guy in the chat a couple times.
Florida man gets tired of waiting in ER at the hospital, steals ambulance and drives home. Haven't we all wanted to do that, right?
I think I know this guy.
380-pound Florida man hides meth in belly button.
Hey.
Resourceful, yeah. But why does it always come out of Florida? What's going on with Florida, though?
It's in the water.
Yeah, there's a lot of chlorine in there.
So how did they find out that he had the meth in his belly button?
I'm glad you asked. After being arrested on charges of possession of methamphetamine, he was searched and booked into Pinellas County Jail. Authorities asked the Florida man if he had any additional contraband on him, to which he replied no, according to the affidavit. When he was being processed into jail, a small bag of meth was found, quote, wedged deep within the belly button cavity. I was just being dumb and not thinking, Florida man said when the drugs were discovered. The belly button meth stash resulted in 2 additional felony charges.
Damn.
Oh my gosh, I don't know that guy. I'm taking it back.
Florida man dressed as Spider-Man spotted power washing roof. Perfect.
Oh, is that this one here? Okay.
Yeah.
He's in the costume still.
He is, yeah.
They have a visual.
Why?
That doesn't look like power washing. That's a floor buffer.
It is a floor buffer, and that's certainly not how you deal with those type of tiles. That's certainly
Those things are very powerful, man, and they're heavy. Holy shit.
Video.
Oh, they got video. Let's see the video.
You want to see the video?
Yeah, how do you get there? Yeah. He's very methodical with it.
He is, yeah. He's getting serious about it.
I have a feeling he may buff floors for a living. He's really good with that thing.
Well, it'd be funny if it just pulled him right off the roof. That would be worth the chuckle, I think.
I think it's pretty funny just to watch. He's pretty good at it, man. Oh, could you imagine? Okay, it looks like it's from like a neighbor's balcony, like waking up in the morning and then like, what's that sound? And looking out your balcony, going, "Holy shit, Spider-Man's buffing his roof."
Yep. There we go.
Oh god.
Florida man sexually assaults stuffed Olaf doll at Target.
Oh gosh.
The Florida man
God.
who, quote, let it go, unquote, all over a stuffed toy at a Pinellas Park Target is facing charges.
I thought these things happened at Walmart. I didn't know that they happened at Target too.
Didn't one guy kill his brother because he stole his Pikachu blanket?
Jesus, man. You notice these are all white people too, so we got to take responsibility for our own, man. We got to police our own.
Yeah, well, let's denounce all these people. But
what the hell is it?
Florida man calls 911 multiple times, asking deputies to bring him ice cream and liquor. man. He looks fairly harmless.
Oh, when authorities arrived at Gable's Punta Gorda apartment, he requested they take the $20 bill he had placed on the couch and bring him some liquor. Deputies then explained to the Florida man that liquor delivery was not deemed an emergency, and if he made such a call again, he would be arrested on charges of misusing 911. He told deputies he understood.
There's got to be more to that, right?
It's got to be more than that. That's a lead-in.
The following day, Gables called 911 and once again had deputies dispatched to his apartment.
This time for ice cream.
This time, he requested the deputies to bring him his ice cream that was in his freezer, stating he was unable to get out of his recliner. He was arrested for the misuse of 911.
Well, I'm sure the way he justifies that, he's like, I pay my taxes. You guys work for
Give me
me.
my ice cream.
You guys work for me.
Do number 3. No.
Oh, number 3?
They do
Oh,
number
wait,
3.
that guy that I said looks like he's harmless. I think they said it looks like narwhal. Oh, what is this? That dude looks frightening, actually.
Florida man impersonates FBI agent, harasses homeowner, leaves live catfish on driveway, flees on a bicycle.
Why? Why?
A Florida man was arrested after impersonating an FBI agent, questioning a homeowner, and leaving multiple live catfish on her lawn before escaping on a bicycle. The victim says the Florida man drove a bicycle with flashing red and blue lights onto her front yard. He then introduced himself as an FBI agent, then ordered the woman to present him with identification to prove she lived there legally.
Oh, God, dude.
When the victim told him to leave her property, he refused. The victim then told her husband to call authorities. The Florida man then took off on his bicycle, but before leaving, he dropped multiple live catfish in the driveway for a, quote, unknown reason, unquote.
Why?
Police stopped Dudley as he escaped because he matched the description of the culprit. According to deputies, he appeared extremely intoxicated and was wearing an FBI hat and dark shirt.
Wow. Go up to the one where the toe sucking one, number 1, I think. I mean, come on. What?
This one's trending, so this is the good one. Yeah.
This one might be a broken link.
Oh, that's too bad. But I mean, something's really wrong in Florida, dude. Yeah, it's a broken link.
That one's a broken link.
I tell you, it's in the water. It's all in the water. I think when you live with alligators and that kind of humidity, it makes you crazy.
Florida man attacks jogger with sword over pile of trash.
As you would.
Oh my gosh!
That's like something would have happened in Japan.
Florida man found sitting on family's roof in his underwear has no idea how he got there.
Wow. So basically, there's a lot of alcohol abuse in Florida, is what I'm hearing, right?
That seems to be one of the common denominators here.
Well, that and meth, that's being hid in somebody's belly button. Shirtless Florida man fights tree.
Did the tree win?
That just says fights tree, not in the tree.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened here?
A shirtless Florida man has been arrested after yelling at a group of school children, then fighting a tree. According to an arrest report, an officer was dispatched to a park in Milton about a Florida man who was disturbing a group of children on a field trip. According to teachers, the shirtless Florida man's behavior was aggressive and erratic, yelling and frightening the kids. After being confronted by an officer, Emmons explained that he came to the park to teach the students, quote, the right way. Or in this case, the, quote, Florida man way. Oh. When the officer told Emmons to leave, the Florida man refused. He instead walked a few feet away and, quote, began fighting a tree, according to the police report. He was arrested and banned from the park for 1 year.
Stay away from that tree for a year.
Did he fight that tree, or did he do something else to it?
What do you got, Todd?
Florida man tried to run to Bermuda in an inflatable bubble. Was arrested by Coast Guard.
Why? Let him try. World record.
Again, he tried twice.
No.
I got another one. What was this? This one was Florida man went around painting anti-Hillary messages on Tampa Bay crabs. Hillary is a lying bitch.
Okay. Okay.
Poor crabs.
What did I do, man?
Man, that's political dedication right there, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is this? Florida man tries to get alligator drunk, gets bitten. Okay.
Of course.
We've also got.
Oh, wait, I have to find out. Wait,
I
go
remember
back.
this guy.
How did he get bitten? Okay, what were they doing before we get to the thick neck guy?
Okay.
Okay, so they're trying to get this thing drunk, and then what happened?
Okay, so according to a report from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, 27-year-old Timothy Kepke fed some beer to the reptile after his friend, 22-year-old Noah Osborne, caught the gator. The incident was filmed as well. After Osborne caught gator with his bare hands, Kepke tempted the animal to bite his arm, which it did. The Florida man then allegedly poured beer into the gator's mouth, causing it to act aggressively. The two then released the gator.
They released the gator like they had a choice. It had that guy by the arm.
Right. Since the two decided to film the whole incident. Kepke admitted he was the man in the video and said while he had been drinking, he was not intoxicated during the incident. Both men were arrested last Thursday.
For what? Being stupid?
Yeah, really.
Probably for animal abuse, I would think.
Yeah.
They were a stone's throw away from a Darwin Award winner.
They were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to this guy. Yeah.
18-year-old Florida man arrested for posing as doctor and opening fake doctor's office.
Wow, that's pretty intense.
Ballsy.
That's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, if people are listening and not watching, they're really missing out. This guy has a neck about 18 inches across. It says wide-necked Florida man enters mugshot Hall of Fame. Florida man is up to his neck in mugshots after the viral sensation found himself back in jail for a third time Tuesday when the state revoked his bond for a prior arrest.
He looks fairly happy in that shot, though. I'm kind of glad to be back.
He doesn't seem to mind being there.
No. He probably likes the workout, machinery, the weights and all. That's
I wonder if you can do this in any state.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope it's localized.
I think it is. That's why this is actually of note, because I don't think this amount of crazy happens. I used to listen to Adam Carolla, so he used to do this show where it was Florida or Germany. So the two craziest places on earth, as far as he was concerned, were Germany and Florida. So he would read these news headlines like this, and then you'd have to decide whether it's Florida or Germany. And I'll tell you right now, they were pretty much equal as far as lunacy.
Wow.
Florida man drives date to sports bar on stolen Walmart mobility scooter. That's not good.
That's not good at all.
Thong-wearing Florida man found in man's backyard, building a shed and throwing chairs. A Florida
What's
man
up with the thongs? Sorry.
A Florida man sporting a thong was arrested after trespassing on a man's property and attempting to make some sort of shed in his backyard. The man stated he was, quote, an artist that makes things from garbage, unquote, and refused to identify himself to police.
Oh, wait. This is a callback to the tree. I think this is funny. Ghost of Henry says, so the tree has to wait 1 year for the rematch.
Florida man gives police fake name to try and avoid arrest. Fake name has DUI attached to it.
Oh.
Oh, my God. Look at this guy.
Naked Florida man spends 24 hours vandalizing school.
Why?
He spent 24 hours just like naked, just vandalizing the school.
Security cameras show 21-year-old Matthew Crandall vandalizing Miramar High School. During the spree of destruction, he only wore a hat and headphones. Footage shows Crandall causing flooding in hallways, vandalizing classrooms, hallways and walls, causing approximately $100,000 in damages, according to police.
Well,
Damn.
24 hours. Could you guys do anything for 24 hours straight? Like that guy vandalized without sleep for 24 hours. That's dedication, man.
That's crazy. I got a couple little ones here. Florida man claims wife was kidnapped by holograms. Rock on, dude. Yeah. This one's better, though. Drunk Florida man attempts to ride bike through Taco Bell drive-thru. Fights with the police.
There you go.
It's perfect.
Okay, this Florida man is apparently on the run. Florida man wearing nothing but bra and hat burglarizes cars.
What? Well, go back to the bra. What, man?
A nearly naked Florida man was caught on camera burglarizing several vehicles in Port Richey last weekend. The unidentified Florida man was seen entering a fenced parking lot wearing nothing but shoes, a sports bra, and a hat. He broke into several cars before leaving. If you recognize this Florida man, please contact the Pasco County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, we have to do our due diligence for the PD. Let's see the video. So if anybody's seen this man with a bra and a hat, it's very cautious the way he's walking.
Skinny. He's very cautious.
He might be hunchback.
He's hunting rabbits, maybe.
Oh, I got a good one.
That was an Elmer Fudd joke.
We can't recognize him by his penis, that's for sure.
No, can't. No.
Poor Elmer got his rifle taken away.
Yeah, he did.
Idiots. Yeah.
Now he's got like a sickle or something, right?
Yeah.
Which somehow seems worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hacking a rabbit to death versus just blasting it really quick.
Florida man arrested for beating drag queen with a tiki torch while dressed as member of KKK. Now running for mayor.
Okay, there you go. There you go. All right.
That has got to go in the book.
That has to go in the book. Yeah. Florida man escapes adult novelty store with $300 Jenna James doll in tow.
Ooh.
Sweet. I don't really know who Jenna James is, but is she an actress or something? Maybe a porn girl, maybe.
Adult, yeah.
Well, he's doing better than this Florida man, who, as shoplifting, Florida man flees store, strips naked as steaks fall out of his pants.
That guy looks fairly normal, man. Like, look at his face. It's like he looks like a nice guy.
The manager of the Save-A-Lot store in D-Land confronted 28-year-old Stephen Short of David, Florida, when he and store patrons saw him stuffing the meat into his pants.
Stuffing Short.
The manager attempted to restrain the Florida man, but he wriggled free, ran out of the store, and began taking off his clothes, leaving a trail of steaks on the floor.
Wow.
Police spotted Short running out of the store naked, and when he refused to stop, officers tased him.
Jeez. Goodness gracious, man.
And this is all within the first 2 weeks of 2020.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, right? I got one. Florida man sets apartment complex on fire after a manager told him to stop masturbating in front of the windows. What the hell?
That sounds like a proper response.
It does, right?
Well, I wonder if this is the same guy, because this one says Florida man masturbates while waiting at Social Security office.
Oh my.
There's a lot of those, actually. What's up with that? Florida's got a problem.
A Florida man has been arrested after choosing a very, quote, Florida man way to pass the time while he waited in his Social Security office.
Social Security? Okay.
30-year-old.
Oh, go ahead.
30-year-old James Terrell Williams was arrested March 5th after allegedly pleasuring himself, quote, in plain view of a federal employee that was assisting him with a disability claim, unquote.
Why? What?
How? I wonder if it was a mental disability claim. It all started when deputies arrived at the government facility in response to a disturbance. They were told about a Florida man, later identified as Williams, that was pleasuring himself near a federal worker, helping him with a disability claim. The affidavit states that the victim saw, quote, strings to his sweatpants flying in the air, unquote. And when she stood up, she got a full view of the Florida man going to town on himself.
I don't understand. How does that happen?
This is how this live stream started with Chester.
Is this how Florida men flirt? Is this some kind of flirtation? I don't know.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to get going.
It's the dating ritual.
Hey, later, Zach.
Hey, later. Good night, everybody.
Have a good one,
dude.
Zach.
All right. Zach said this is whack, so he's leaving.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
This guy looks like he's up to no good.
Oh, he was up to no good. He told a cop his name is, quote, Bend Over.
Hello, my name is Bend Over.
A Florida man was arrested after giving a cop the finger and telling his name was Bend Over.
That sounds like a Monty Python skit.
It does, yeah. It's kind of like the guy who told the feminist his name was Hugh Mungus. That guy.
Hello, Nova.
I wonder if he was from Florida. Probably was.
Probably was. Yeah. All right, let's go out. Okay, Todd, you got one more, and we'll go out with that one.
All right, let's see here. Jeez.
Irish midget uses leprechaun costume to extort sex.
That's a Florida man?
That's none of your business says.
Oh, you just made that up. Oh.
No, I read it. In the chat.
Okay, I'm looking for it. Oh, there it is.
So there's a video of this. I remember seeing this. Florida man attacked during selfie with squirrel. And he's running. The squirrel jumps on his back. And he's running like a girl, screeching like crazy.
Do you have video of that?
There is video. I remember seeing this. No, I'm on a page that just does these headlines.
Oh, okay.
And the Florida man wears F the police shirt to court and wins case.
As you should.
That's a good one.
Now, here's my serious question. How long has this been going on?
A while.
Long time. Yeah. When was the last time, Chester, that you've been in the States here?
Oh, I don't know, 25 years ago, I guess.
Okay.
Well, that's not true. I was in Hawaii, which isn't America at all, by the way.
Right.
But it's not even close to it. But during that time, I did go to San Francisco for a government meeting. So that was what 23 years ago, I guess. 23 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So
I've got
that long.
All right, when you're ready, I've got one to go out on. We'll go out on a high note.
Okay.
Florida man throws feces at judge during trial, gets acquitted.
What?
Wow.
A Florida man who is charged with burglary flung his feces and missed at the judge during his trial. 33-year-old Dorleans Philidor was wheelchair-bound, sitting next to Miami-Dade Circuit Judge Lisa Walsh. Officials say he tried to throw his own fecal matter at her, but missed. Witnesses say the Florida man yelled, "It's protein! It's good for you!"
What? What?
Corrections officers were quick to respond, and the trial was relocated while the courtroom was sanitized. Philidor was then acquitted of the burglary charge by jurors. He still faces another trial for grand theft auto.
And for throwing feces in a court of law.
I'm curious how he accomplished all of this while in a wheelchair.
Well,
He's pretty badass.
Could have probably, I don't know. I was trying to figure out the physics of the whole like shitting in your pants and scooping it out, but yeah, I don't know how that's even possible. Yeah. that is definitely a high note right there. So yes, everybody go out and check into Florida Man. It's Todd Mulrooney's book. He's been working at it for a long time, and it looks great. You're doing really, really good right now. I mean, you just launched earlier today, so the thing is heating up. do you have any parting shots on Florida Man, Todd?
Yeah, let me say this. I've been doing this at this kind of level for a couple years. I won that contest to do mail-ins, graveyard shift 2, and but nothing compares to really kind of, the kind of passion. Because granted, Florida Man story came to me, Mike came to me, and it's really not my story. But sometimes you can kind of believe in something so much that it becomes personal to you. And so I've really pushed myself as an artist to make this fun. I've shown some of the guys the cars I've drawn that are going to be in here, and it's all special cars. I'm even going to slide Sam and Dean from Supernatural, the Chevy Impala in here, and maybe them in there too. So it's just me having fun, and you know what? There's nothing better than kind of controlling your own destiny and having fun at the same time. So I'll leave you with that. I feel good today. I feel really good.
Awesome. Art.
I'm sorry, I had to turn off the air conditioner because it was making a lot of noise, and I didn't want to be rude. I thought you'd talk longer, Todd. But yeah. So go check out Florida Man. I know Todd's been working on it for a while now, and I've seen a lot of the pages and behind the scenes stuff, and I know Todd's very proud of it. And Mike Barron is one of the great writers in comics, and man, I think just working with Mike Barron, like scripts, getting those scripts and everything, breaking those things down visually would just be a blast to do, man.
From day one, the crux of all this has been working with Mike Barron.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, in the very beginning, this doesn't really slot anywhere. Florida Man doesn't. It's not superheroes. It's not this. It's not that. It's really not straight up comedy like the member of the Justice League from the 90s. It was the late 80s. It's really not even comedy like that. It's very, very different. It's so different. It's kind of like when you always, when you read the Eisner winners, and you go, I never even heard of this book. When you go and you look and it's something eclectic or something really different. I'm telling you, Florida Man is like that. It's eclectic. It's different. It has a different vibe than anything out there. And yet, yes, it is funny. It's situationally funny. There is many more comedic moments in the latter half of the book that are well executed. As long as I pull them off, it's going to be freaking brilliant.
Yeah, I think that it's just like all those headlines that we were reading. Those are real. Those aren't jokes. Those aren't punchlines or setups and punchlines. So it sounds like the book is going to be the same thing, where it's going to just be anarchy and insane things that happen that are hilarious, but it's real. It's like real situations. I know it's made up, it's a made up story, but it's based on like just the lunacy that is life. You know what I mean? Like just the craziness that happens every day. And it seems like more of it happens in Florida than any place else. So it's the perfect book. Yeah.
Yeah, and that news for the race came to me as we after we started the show. This is a huge surprise because and I told them, I said, I'll do any original artwork you need. I'll even I'll do some artwork to promote the race on your site using Gary and Crystal and some of the other characters. But that's a huge honor. I can't think of anything else that's happened to me professionally that even equals that. And
well, explain that for the people that might have just come in. Explain what that is.
Yeah, the graphic novel is going to be Florida Man graphic novel is going to be the sponsorship of a race. It's called the Florida Man 250, and they're going to promote the book. And so we'll see what kind of artwork we can do for it, and and how they can use it. Hopefully they'll put a big banner out and stuff like that. So that's all in the works right now. But yeah, it's going to be the sponsor of that Florida Man 250 at Daytona Speedway.
What day is that? Do they have a date for the
July 12th?
Okay, so
I gotta figure out what they need and get it done.
Is your campaign still going to be running to the 12th?
Oh yeah, it'll still be running.
Okay. Yeah, so when you get that stuff up and running, definitely promote it and videotape the hell out of that, man.
Yeah.
Are you going to go to the race? Are you going to go?
I'd love to.
That'd be awesome, right?
Yeah, that would.
Yeah,
be cool.
Daytona is going to be packed with people being cooped up for so long, and yeah, that's a great idea to sponsor an event like that.
Yeah, it is.
They're going to have a record turnout just because of, like what Joe was saying. Everybody's getting back out, enjoying, and it's the summertime and it's a big race.
And it's what two? I think it's what 2 weekends after the Firecracker 400, which is a huge. The Daytona race that happens in the beginning of the year kicks off the season. But the Firecracker 400 is a race that they usually do Saturday night before July, or as close to July 4th as they can. And under the lights, I don't know if you ever watched a night race. Now, granted, NASCAR isn't anything what it used to be when I used to watch it, when the cars look like the cars that you could buy in the streets and stuff like that. It's a whole show in itself on a different network. But the night races, oh my God, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
Well, let me see here. I'm doing this real quick. Okay. I just checked your site real quick. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. And I hope everybody had a good time in the chat. We covered a lot of stuff. It was a lot of fun. Thanks to everybody that hung out with me. Chester, Joe, Zach, and Todd. And continued success, Todd. We have your link. Florida Man link is in the description. So click on that, check it out, and back a book, man. Get a book for yourself.
Yeah, I'll be doing. I actually did a promo just before we came on that I finished as we were doing, and so the drawing. I'll be showing stuff every day, whether it's a panel of the day or something. I'm not afraid to do that. There's nothing. When it comes to comics, there's no thing that you can't be overexposed.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've always been a believer of the more you show, the more interest you will,
And if you said that and you lived in Florida, we'd be a little worried. But since you don't live in Florida, that whole expose yourself thing it's all above board.
It's all above board. That's right. Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that.
So we started with balls and we're ending with balls. Perfect.
Blue balls and what was it? What was your
boom? A dick in the water.
Yeah, but you had a specific ball element.
Oh my! The autism in the left nut. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah,
the doctor's going to be checking that out in 3 days. I'm ready.
You watch. It's taken over. It's taken over. Everybody's going to be talking about their their balls and the problems with them and stuff like that. So you're patient zero right there.
I am. I know.
All right, man. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.